Это ебанутый какой-то. Кто его сюда пустил? Так, все есть. Не понял, что уже схватка? Или как? Или это повторы? Что-то я не вовремя подключился. На таком экране хрен что понятно. Не, это повторы. Блять, быстро бой прошел. Даже я не заметил. Да-да-да, трындите. Только, блядь, ну нихуя же непонятно. Ладно, хуй с ним. Привет, мафиоза. Сейчас тут по техническим причинам жру. И жду, когда уже хоть бой какой-то начнется. Газ, привет. Это соревнование. У нас, оказывается, на ютубе мало трансляций таких. Ну мы авось. Все равно только проснулся. Чё бы нет. Там, здравствуйте, смотрите, я азиат, у нас высота чуть повыше и пониже. Смотрите, а мы дрыщи и очкастые. Мы, блядь, конченые. Ну, вы поняли. Ладно, нормально. А не хуйня страдать. По Лиге Легенд турнир. Да что-то в сегодняшних соревнованиях одни азиаты там участвуют. Эти таиландцы, по-моему, против китайландцев, хер его знает. Сейчас, когда покажут, что за название команд. Вчера, блядь, китайцы порвали этих испанцев. Я лахну. А сегодня вот так вот. Блять, колбасу не доел, начал шоколадку хавать. Чё за черт? А его и не будет. Потому что там все на китайском говорят. Я думаю, это будет какие-нибудь, не знаю, авторские шматские права. И смысл там касюмаси, кули хуяси. Это ж не в России происходит вообще. Далеко. Да и России здесь никаким хером не будет. Не знаю, 300 тысяч там. Что-то они там разыгрывают, как я понял. Ага. Бурирам. Буе против КФ. Наверное. Бля, Бля, телефон возьму, сейчас только комп трону и все, сразу все отвалится. Серьезно, узкоглазая, ебало. 300 тысяч долларов, я так думаю, да вряд ли рублей. Но я просто слышал, типа, 300 тысяч. А вот, ну как, это не такая уж и достоверная инфа. 300 тысяч. Ну, может быть и долларов. Хер его знает. Ну, какой-то крупненький такой проект. Сейчас посмотрим. Там, если музыка заканчивается, говорите, что, блядь. А, заканчивается. Бля, как мне поставить, как у нормальных людей, чтобы несколько было? Свойства, давай повторно. Так. Так, чат проебал. А меня слышно нормально? Ну, по идее, нормально. Блядь. Может быть. Это прикольно. Ну, я про привет. Ухляш. Бомба-бой. Чё за ним наблюдаете? Может, вдруг он жрать начнет, если чё, или чё? Wild Drift, ну, VR понятно, что за Е. Влез икона. Чё, блядь, первый раз телефон в руках держишь? Ну, понятно, это не их телефон, это там. Выдали им телефоны, мол, ребятки, смотрите, одевайте майки, рекламируйте слово Ямаха. На плечах вчера было Vivo, там еще всякие рекламные майки вам, и все, ходите. Ёба, киберпончик, да, это кибертюфтя, блядь. Ну, это еще один. Но вечно в камеру любит заглядывать. Сейчас я пока просыпался, пока все это включал, настраивал, чай себе наливал, он каким-то серьезным ебалом лично заглядывал сюда. Яма. Всем здравствуйте. Да, Валдрифт не очень знаменитый. Это если на Твиче сейчас смотрит 2100 человек. Это все? На весь Твич, на все соревнования 2000, блядь. Че, после этого Валдрифт нахуй закроют? Киберпельмень. Киберхинкалия. Так, сейчас, кстати, посмотреть надо. Вот так вот. Команды. Icons 2022. Какой CSGO, блядь? А, Icons, это, я так понимаю, они не только по Валдрифт делают, они, наверное, делают по всякому. И по КС, и по хуеске. Информация о турнире, о, точно. Участники. 14 по 19 июля. Блять, непонятно. Так, вот этих я вчера видел. J-Team. Вчера были, пиздились. Они... Непонятно с кем. Они пиздились с Викей. Ну чё вы там начинаете? Что вы, блядь, не можете катку целую запустить? 1,5 недели. В хую? В хучлен. Да, не могу найти в натуре. Ну, Викей же был. А, Викей, Вива Кейт. Это вот это испанцы были. А, есть, короче, я понял. Есть, короче, команды. Их несколько. И они ебашатся между собой. Есть, допустим, команда... Блядь. Или что это за обозначение? Так, сегодня у нас 15-е, значит, по идее, вот это 14-е. Блядь, я не понимаю, нихуя. Сейчас период геймы на YouTube транслирует. Ну, уменьшься. Че вы там начинаете? Ту-ду-ду-дун. Угу. Бурера. А, уже, блядь, стычка началась. Ёб тудысь. Так, на миде хуй пойми кто. Вроде хуй пойми кого, потому что я не понимаю нахуй в этом валдрифте. Я, блядь, хуёво понимаю валдрифт. Блядь, вы можете выбирать кого-нибудь? А, ну сверху тип, который газовый, блядь. Заебись, нахуй. Определил. Муза от красной команды. А, да подожди, я ж отсюда вижу. Обезьяна от синей команды. Синжао. Бля, тёлка с мечом. Охуенно объяснил. Да-да-да. Давай лучше так. Я, короче, забью слово персонажа Валдрикта, оттуда буду уже думать. Чемпионы, то есть. Так, Вуконг, да, от синий. Ли Син. А вот эту телку с дыркой во лбу я не помню. Да, Вуконг, вот он вижу. А, телку с дыркой... А, Диана. Угу. Диану мы определили. Так, Нигер и тот, который помогает. Хуй просы, что-то еще попробуй. Фигхан. А. Где крокодильчик? А, не знаю, не спроси. Может быть, она отдыхает. Так, Лесина. А, Люциан. Люциан. Так, вот это вот как раз таки есть Люциан, который один против двоих какого-то. А, нет, Люциан с этой какого? С хилочкой. Сейчас только название дайте вспомнить. Я не задрот, поэтому так что. Поэтому задрачиваю время от времени. Так, а на миди кто? А, на миди как раз таки Диана, да? Да, на миди Диана. А, Юми. Юми. Точняк. О, забрали бойца красной команды. Он как и танк. Синжао так ничего сделать не смог. Вуконг напал. Блядь, вообще не... Ну, чё ж я их не помню никого. Вы можете брать тех, которых, вот, ну, я понимаю, Лисин Лису херачится, Юми и еще какой-то хуй, блядь, которого я опять забыл, собирается внизу. Ебашится. Смотрите, крокодильчика сюда. Я вернулся, блядь. Стрим не актуальный. Почему, в смысле, не актуальный? Все должно быть актуально. Синджет. Сиджет. Синджет, блин. Сейчас ж так букву вставили. Сиджет, да и насрать, нет. Так, Лисина мы знаем, Музу мы знаем. Вот этого хера на велосипеде мы тоже. Ну, понятно, что он стрелок. Люциан. Люциан. Как Лютик, только Люциан. КДФ и БРУ. Ну, это понятно. Это тайландцы и китайландцы. Вьетнамцы. Вот. По-моему. Нет? Около того. Так, замесик. Вуконг ебуков раздает. Но на это в этом же и прикол. А ты зря, ты зря. У этого хера Сиджета, блядь, как такового урона ни хера нема. Но когда смотрится статистика, у него, блядь, больше всего урона. Какого хера тут? Как бы и непонятно. Вау, это кто? Это хуй в пальто. Ха. Как тебе такое? Илон Газг. Корки, все так. Справа это корки, да? Все это мы вкурили. Так, за Дианой двое гонятся. Так, трое, четверо. Куда она влезла? Так, Муза раздает ебуку. Нет, это не Муза. А, это Юми, находясь в Диане, раздавала ебуков. Короче, размен раз на раз произошел. Ну, замес продолжается. Как обычно, хуй пойми, что происходит. Лисин отлетает нахрен в таком. И синяя команда пытается забрать красного дракона. Это дракон воздуха? Нет. Так, Сиджит пытается на тебя сбайтить. Это его, наверное, основная проблема. Не проблема, а задача. Есть без шуток. Что за перс у синих наверху? У синих Вуконг. Он копии себя создает и охуенно ебашится. Отошел. Ой, как неудобно. Ой, как неудобно. Ай, Диана ебуков получила. Ну, зато 1 на 1 размен был, уже, в принципе, было неплохо. Хотя у синей команды есть приоритет в плане убийства и золота. 4-1 по убийствам. На этих соревнованиях не надо даже ждать чего-то этакого. Вуконг, но он ближник такой, он как бы создает копии свои, которые, стоя на месте, раздают ебуков. В плане того, что когда начинается замес, у него, по-моему, под ультой, это повал дрифт, спичный персонаж, я вот помню. Они когда начинают... Так, синяя команда забрали барона. Не барона, а это... барона считайте, короче. Это очень хорошо. Сейчас, значит, блядь, башенку снесут, как он первая башня, блядь, красной команды. Короче, он под ультой раздает... Еще две копии появляются. Я считаю, урон в цей раз по автоатакам увеличивается. Нападение на Сиджита. Он сделал все правильно. И от... Бля... Вот так вот, вот в этом и принцип Сиджита. Тип, который бежит, а за него пуки остаются и все травятся. Смысл в том, что он влетает, делает хороший прокаст, отравление и клей. У него есть отравление, первая способность, вторая там клей, третья не помню, четвертая ульта, тоже не помню. Смысл того, что... третья он через себя перекидывает, вот ульту я не помню. Ему нужно сделать замедление, проконтролировать врагов, нанести немного отравления в случае того, что если бы тип смог противник убежать, его бы добили бы отравляющие вещества, которые остались в его организме. Что я говорю? Игра и организм. Но смысл в том, что Сиджит в основном это помощь, хотя вроде бы он и по урону. Синжао разбирается с лесом. Красный баф себе забирает. Вроде бы себе, как бы не показали. Официальный спонсор Кока-Кола. Заебись. А у нас она есть еще? Так, на миде что-то начинается заварушка. Собираются. Все сдвигаются. Нет, не все. Пошли наверх. Подожди, а у кого дракон? Не дракон, этот... барон. Вы же забрали его. Вукон, у тебя спалили, это само собой. Там вард. Он не видит этого. Варда видим мы. Ой, короче, я пошел его пробовать. Если хрень будет, то вернусь. Вуконга? Сначала посмотри, как им играются. Я сначала таким принципом действую. Я сначала смотрю, как играют персонажи. Потом иду пробовать. Способности его узнаю. Касты вообще, пассивки, что ему дают. Там бывают персонажи, которые в основном на пассивке играют. Принцип. Так, 4... Ебать. -1. Да я вас умоляю. Лисин отлетает просто. Вдвоем его почти под башней забирать. Я что-то не обратил внимания. Он без жизни был, стоял, или почему он так мгновенно отлетел? Так, Адина. Диана, вернее, там сносит. Вуконг. Попытался кого-то снести. Барона с леса выпускают? А чё так безопасно? Вы уже успели по одной башне снести. Да, ну, ясен фиг, барон-то бы не успел. Я не понимаю, на этих рангах нельзя подойти к башне и выложить барона, чтобы он ее сразу снес. Они его положили в кусты, он прошелся и все. Неясно. Дракона так и не забрали. Крупный замес на миде начинается. 2 красных. Не, хуй, это они взяли уровень. 3-0. 3-0. Осталось им только потеряться. Все блинки. Вуконг убегает вместе с Юми. Просто на потеряшках. Красная команда. Нихера себе они их разорвали. И еще и счет обогнали. У них было 4-1, сейчас 4-6. Хотя у синий они забрали 2. Так, смотрим повтор. Они пытались забрать, синяя команда, дракона. Потом повылетали. А просто один в толпу залетает. И ну ему пизда. Все, остается Юми. Она прыгает в Уконга. И они просто на всех парах теряются, откуда могут. Клей кинул Джин. Сиджей. Так, ладно, продолжаем. Все уже воскресли. Пока повтор был. Все равно ничего интересного происходило. Наверное. Нормально. Нормально. Люцан что-то мид пушит. Камону ему надо. Так, это золото на минутах. Так, получает плюху Сиджит от Лисина. Вторую. Но толку. Рядом муза, и они под щитами. Так что много там никто не теряет. Все они уже собираются на мид идти. Все. То есть все 5 на все 5. Муза зачем-то влетает в центр, получает ебуков. Диана тоже ебуков. И Люциан. Блин. То Юми была. Да что, у них же способности похожи с музой. И все, красная команда забрала 2-0 и забирают теперь барона на шар. Получат охеренное усиление. И я думаю, уже, наверное, это будет какое-то окончание. Хотя, может быть, нет, но еще побрыкается синяя команда. Но, в принципе, красная сейчас должна дойти до Т3. А нет, это они просто пробафали и бэкнулись на слово, которое я не помню. Где они там рисуются? Как это называется? Все, пиздец, старый я стал. Я, короче, спиздел. Вот эти соревнования, по-моему, на 2 ляма долларов идут. А за 300 тысяч рублей это соревнование будет проходить на Рутюбе. Тоже по Валрику. Точно. Красные просто рвут. Просто рвут толпой. Все на низе собрались. На боте он же. Йо. Это нереально. Все в 5. 5 на 5. Просто дикие люди. Просто дикие люди. Ну все, Бру выиграли. Все, по-моему, тайцы, если я не ошибаюсь, выиграли. Ну ладно. Мне бы как-то похуй. Не Россия же выиграла. Так что... А чё, все на сегодня? А, нет, получается, они жопу порвали. Это либо их второй бой, либо третий, я так и не понял, но все. Идут, стукаются, щелкаются кулачками, кулачочками. У них же там не отменили никаких заболеваний, так что они все в масках ходят. Ну ладно. И типа фоткаются. Ну, блин, они все так одинаково делают, что... Бля. Все так одинаково выглядит. Победящая команда типа фоткается. Не победяющая не фоткается. Хотя вначале они дали жару. За кулисами. И опять китаец крыч. Звучит как будто, блядь, сериал какой-то типа Гриффин. И еще кто-то где-то, оперный театр. Блядь, вот этот Тихан очень похож на такое ощущение, что турок какой-то, ну, Китай-турок. Все в Турции вот так вот зализаны как-то и промелированные. А этот справа видно, что конченый, потому что он этот, походу, натурал, блядь. Чё за тип? Ой, даже нечего анализировать. Тут эту вот команду было, что-то синие прям в начале чуточку дали. Вот они повторы. Тут сразу под башней Лисин захерачил их танка. А, он вытолкнул, получается. Вот тут Диана вообще таких ебуков получила. Просто слила слэш. И ни к чему. Ни к чему это не привело. Ну, в плане 1 на 1 Лисин на Диану. Обмен. Как бы ок. Ой. Этот замес вообще для них. Вот это первый фатальный замес. Они просто все влетели. Такое ощущение, что долбили танка. И вот Юми вместе с Вуконгом хотя бы смогли смыться. Это второй фатальный замес. Ну, в принципе, после первого уже было ясно. Здесь уже раз, два и сейчас 3 будет. Да, Диана уже здесь 3 в 0. Был первый 3 в 0, второй 3 в 0. Тут они забрали барона. И там еще крайний был чуть ли не 5 в 0. Ладно, пока сейчас будет трендеж, я сейчас приду. Так, а я что-то пропустил, что ли? Это старые замесы показываются или что-то новое? Нет, это, видать, старое. Не обсуждают, типа, какие стычки были. Так. Погнали. Теперь у нас ново. А, подожди. НЕ. Нет, я вас не знаю. Я вас не знаю, кто такие. Это все еще показываются старые стычки, да? Так, ну обсуждение пока не очень интересно. Не знаю, зачем вы это. Блять, я не знаю, почему, мне кажется, я на ребят смотрю и думаю, блядь, ребята, вы просто в плену. Вас заставляют портить свое зрение и играть в эту строченку. Ладно, пока обсуждение. Я отвлекусь.
немного растянулся. Так что в следующий раз я подошью более плотно, но это незначительная деталь, и это легко поправить. И утром, когда я устанавливал это... Но это незначительная деталь, и это легко поправить. И утром, когда я устанавливал эту конструкцию, это все было натянуто, и я был под столом, зашивая
Так.
с прошлого года.
Так, походу пора возвращаться, да? Ну, что за команды? Вы кто такие? Так. Не то. Блять. Блин, на английский пишу. Блять, я чё, опять язык не поменял? Международный чемпионат. Та-та-та-та-та. Павел Дрифт. Спасибо. Так, сейчас знакомление. Уже количество... Так, а чё, нельзя? Первая стадия, 7 июня по 21. А, это предварительная сейчас. Потом, блин, групповая, потом плей-офф и финал. 7 дней, 10 дней, 7 дней и 3 дня. Да, предварительная. Первая стадия предварительная. Так, 3:00 по московскому времени. Не понял, это в 3 ночи по московскому времени начинается? Вы что, бешеные? А вообще сайт турнира. Так, уже пошел набор. Все, я понял. Так, Фиджи и НВ. Фиджи и НВ. Да, опять корейцы и какие-нибудь шотландцы. Нет, это выигранная команда, да? Нет. Фиджи против НВ. Так, я сейчас пока чекну вообще инфу, кто это с кем. А, вот сейчас Хэппин Икон.
Advantage of the fact that that's pretty good pronunciation, by the way. Thank you. I'm working on.
Да,
Maybe
вот
take
они пошли
advantage of the fact that it's less impressive when you realize that I've been casting Chinese teams.
А чё за Фиджи против НВ? А, сегодня еще будет 2 соревнования. ГЛО против ФВ и ЛБР против Сен. И завтра 4 соревнования. Завтра будет как раз таки GT. Ля, ВК не выбыли, походу. Я так понял. Все уже, до свидули. Так, а давай мы немножко сейчас не отсюда возьмем. Прям с прямой трансляции.
Jungle. Yeah.
But doesn't quite seem to fit Echo's place
Теряется
now.
немного.
My gut here is we're putting this rivet in the mid lane. However,
Захват окна поменяем.
the beautiful thing about this draft is it could be anything.
Oh,
This is a very flexible opening to the draft from Furious Gaming, and Furious Gaming have solid drafts. A lot of the LATAM and actually Wild Tour teams do a really good job playing draft phase, really flexible. Right, have a ton of really cool draft picks to play through.
Nova Esports go for the safe option. We see the Ziggs, we see the Kha'Zix, the Renekton. Doesn't get more staple than that.
This is a team that is looking at Furious Gaming and they're saying, if we play bog standard Wild Rift, if we don't make any mistakes, we'll win. And so Nova are going to show up, they're going to deliver some bog standard Wild Rift. They've got very good safety in the Renekton. Ziggs, the Kha'Zix to finish off kills once the Ziggs gets them below. The Ziggs is played probably AD carry by Remake and sits at the very back of the fight, throwing damage out. Only thing I'm looking for is maybe another tank in Yami's hands, build up that front line a little bit more. And it's going to be very difficult to break that. You're going to need to get past the double tank, something like a Braum, something like a Thresh and the Renekton. You need to get past them in order to get kills.
I think Furious Gaming have identified the same thing. The Alistar banned away. They do not want to deal with a double tank. And the first time they don't want to deal with is the Alistar. We had a 1v1 with that, so you know how smoky they can be.
Gran didn't beat me in a 1v1 on AP Alistar.
Because I had the better roots.
Yes, he did outplay me in the rune selection. Wow. Rakan the ban out, interesting. So
still in the same branch.
Yeah, still some very good tank supports available for Nova, and I do expect that to come through here. Furious Gaming quite badly need a tool to access the backline. You see the Z banned out by Nova, that's because they're identifying that same thing. If Prussia can get an all-star carry, if they can have backline access, then it's going to be really scary. I like the Gragas, that's a tank.
Yeah, Nova get the Gragas here. It doesn't seem like they have any shot options for what they might want to try and play for in the support role. Of course, we have to mention here, Long coming in, Omo hyped him up as the child of the dragon, the son of the dragon.
He was so proud of that.
He is very proud of that. And looking forward to see how his performance on the Kha'Zix is going to be. It has been one of the most dominant
Furious Gaming, Argentina.
Ooh.
Argentina.
I don't know how I feel about that. So this means that it is going to be Karma mid. Prussia playing the Karma, presumably AP. Oh my goodness. I told you!
Oh my
Nobody believed me!
The Tristana for Furious Gaming. Pulling out the big guns.
Nobody
так,
believed
забанили
me!
Лисина, Нави, Танка,
Here's the thing about Tristana. I don't think it's going to do very well in this match. Now, if Sarthar can get to the late
game, удивительного-то здесь?
This works. And this is the playstyle that, as we talked about, Furious Gaming do default to sometimes when they feel like they can't get a good carry for Prussia. They go, okay, Sarthar's now our carry. And they're going to give him the Tristana, which is one of the game's like hyper carries. And if he gets to the late game on this champion, he will be able to detonate even Renekton. He will be able to one-shot. Right. Tristana just got buffed. She is incredibly powerful once she has completed her crit build. So you're looking basically at the completion of Infinity Edge and then 2 more crit items, usually Storm Razor and Rapid Fire Cannon. But you also see Static Shiv, like anything like that. But you see 2 or 3 crit items complete. That Tristana does damage. Until that point, she does not do damage, which makes it devastating to play her in a dragon lane, especially into something like the Ziggs that can sit on the other side of the map and just poke away.
But of course, as we start to see Furious Gaming start to ramp up, skill up, Sarthar will have that impact in game. We have late game scaling options on Nova Esports, but the response out here from the Tristana.
I will say, if Furious Gaming can get to the late game, that Tristana is really interesting.
Так, короче,
if there's one thing that Furious Gaming do, it's have pretty good team fights. Right. So, Nova Esports, there is an angle where they could lose the late game team fight. This Tristana could come online and it could all be over. all too fast. I do think Nova Esports are going to play very fast during the early game. The second they see this Tristan on the map, especially with a Nami alongside it, the call should just be that lane is so easy to
Я знаю,
the call should just be that lane is not going to be able to leave their turret for the first 5 minutes.
Especially with the Gragas, makes it so
Только
easy
там надо
to
было
pressure on the bottom.
в конце залупу написать
Nova Esports, I expect to show up early in the bottom and try to knock out the game there.
Well, it could be scrappy, it could be clean, but I'll tell you what, it is game number 1 between Furious Gaming and Nova Esports. Day 2 of the Icons Global Championship shaping up pretty hot and long. An aggressive move. Dash gonna have
Я даже не помню, как они называются. Срочно надо чекать.
It is that playstyle.
And this is something that Pressure has done before. He has played Tristan mid before, so this isn't the craziest thing in the world. We got baited a little bit by the champion slipstream, but this is something he's done before. And this makes a little bit more sense into something like a Corki, because the Corki also takes a while to get going, and Pressure will have the support of Echo in lane to boost up.
Я уже просто не помню, как
So having that additional power, being able to get so much more done here. I mean, looking forward to the overall performance here from Pressure, and we start to see now some of the damage that's able to be put out by Nova in the bot side.
Fun little side effect of that, of course, is that we have the Karma Nami lane.
Так, вот так вот.
This is the we're going to help Pressure in 5 minutes lane. It's going to be pretty difficult to do damage to that lane. They can just sit on the other side of the map and poke away. But they're also not going to really be able to do anything once we get out of the first couple of minutes. Not going to be a whole lot of damage.
They will help Pressure a lot.
Yeah, if we get to teamfights, Furious Gaming have a
Так,
really
да,
interesting
Нами.
draft, 'cause you can
Верно,
drop-
я там то вспомнил слева
Guys,
нижняя,
he's
это
eating this
Нами.
lane. It's the second time he's full comboed Libra, and Libra's just been like, well, I guess I'll haymaker the wave.
Ренгар. Да нет,
I guess I'll get some free farm.
Рениктон. Всё. Вот
And a lot of
это
this, I feel like as
Рениктон.
well, is the fact that Yizu is playing
Нету ни стрелок.
a staple kind of champion.
Вот это кто? Вот
You know, you could go for a more aggressive pick, a more aggressive option, but when you have the Renekton, you know it always provides a certain amount of safety in your lane.
Сет
Yizu
с
is
Ренганом
so good in these
получается.
opening levels. Right, this is prime Renekton territory. The set will get bigger if things don't go wrong in that top side.
Тристана.
I want to see Long kind of impact these lanes. We talked about how difficult it should be to play this bottom lane under pressure. Here it is.
And Echo might be down here in the bot side as well. Yeah, I mean, trying to
Так,
bait them
между
out though,
стычкой
but
еще 3 на 3.
not quite able to do it. Still holding steadfast.
Good
Starts
pop.
to dash in, remake. Will pull the
Ай,
attention
как ты
over, but a
больно
beautiful flash over
влетел.
by Echo. Over the
Что-то
wall back to
подсался.
turret.
Here comes Pressure hunting for something.
всё, здесь
So much
уже
of this
замес, я
early
так
game from
понял,
Furious Gaming, it's
расходится.
like they're playing an assassin, right? Whenever you're playing with a Z, you're like, okay, how do we get gold onto the Z during the opening levels so that they can one-shot people in the late game?
Так, убийца
That's
в
what they need to
кустах,
do with
убийца
Pressure.
в кустах.
Awkward
Ну, ты
spot here
понимаешь,
as
что ты
Pressure
не
is
один.
going to start walking over. Long's going to spawn him out. He was
Так,
clearing
так,
control
вас
over
двое.
the rest of his team.
Аккуратно.
Able to respond. The wave crashing into
Так,
the
слева у
mid-side.
нас
Pressure losing a lot of
получается
gold EXP.
Аргентина, справа
Ooh,
пусть будет
Alpha safe.
Кипячина.
I talked about how good he is as a support player.
Пытается в лесу
Seeing him
поймать.
here.
Pressure is
О,
very interesting. Very
Тристана,
well timed
аккуратнее.
use of
Тут
the jump.
начинается
Managed to pull
влет.
them away,
Сет
and
влетел.
Furious Gaming roam into the mid lane and
походу
find
Сет летел,
first
да.
blood. First on the ball
Минус
goes
один.
over to Furious Gaming, and a second pickup
Двойное
as
убийство.
Nova lose mid laner and
Мое
support.
почтение.
First blood to the WOL.
И ФБ
Let's
двойное
go.
убийство сделал.
As they find
Сет
two picks,
красавчик.
Nova
Давайте
Esports.
повтор.
They started out as a very clean little invade, and then they just
Получается,
hung around
влетает
here.
Сет,
When Long
бьет его об
recommits,
землю.
stays here longer.
Тут наносит урон.
They're
Первая
asking for
кровь
trouble. And
Сета.
Trouble's name is Libra.
И,
A huge
ну, вторую кровь уже
face breaker
забирает
from
не
Libra onto
Сет.
3
Всё, я
members.
понял.
That's the point. There we go. Those
Неплохо,
claps.
неплохо.
That's a coach right there.
Rapid clapping action. That's the way we do things. And
Я пытаюсь понять, как
yes,
это
and it
персонаж.
seems
Это
like
так,
now
тот Зикс,
Libra
да,
in an
скорее?
awkward position against Iza, not able to get much more done, has now found this gold advantage. Will be able to reset, come back in with that black cleaver. A good spot for Furious Gaming to be
Да,
in. This
блин.
is exactly what
Где
we're
вы,
hoping
эти
for.
персонажи?
Anything
Бля,
to help
тут все
accelerate
персонажи
pressure.
нет.
I will
Акали,
flag
да
Pressure,
нет, не
not doing so
Акали.
great on the gold count.
Sure.
Did have to rotate around a
Ну это
lot.
с
did have
мечом
to
такая
lose some
тёлка.
waves. You can see how much emphasis Nova are putting on keeping him from getting gold right now.
Все уровни
And
сложности,
that's
все
paying off. We
чемпионы.
talked
Я
we were
чё,
talking about
вас
this during last series
заебусь.
about how KDF weren't doing a very good job of restricting
Вот она,
gold
вот она.
gain.
Вот как ее зовут?
This
Как
is a
ее зовут?
masterclass on how to
Как
do it from
ее
Nova.
зовут?
Even though they're like messing up and losing players, he's still behind because he's constantly being forced off of his wave.
Пытаюсь
His
понять, что правильно
minion waves are
озвучить.
constantly
Так, Сет
dying to
все
tower shots,
крокодила
which means that Furious
выебывает.
Gaming don't get the gold from them, and Nova build up a significant lead.
And 2 kills up, but no gold difference. And so we start to see where that comes from for those waves crashing in. Pressure losing some gold in the mid lane. Well, first spawn coming up now.
First spawn coming up for these 2 dragons, and look at this shove from Furious Gaming, rotating pressure up the river, trying to find a kill and turn immediately onto this mountain drag.
And doing a good job to establish control here. Yami a little bit far behind.
Double board on the mountain drag, so Nova don't need to check this. They know that it's not been started. And
but
instead
we do have the flank angle from Yan over by the back. Pressure coming in now, gets the bomb on first.
They're just trying to find an angle. This isn't about fighting for Nova, this is about finding a mistake that they can punish.
Dragon started up, will allow it to reset.
It's just stretching its wings, Grandin.
Going for a stroll by the river.
Going for a flap by the river.
Так, а наверху пока пушит крокодил.
Absolutely, Nien also able to escort the wave to the bot side. Now Dragon
Чё,
started up.
и дракона забирают
The
земляного.
ward is there, but look what happens here. Stout defense from Yami.
Или нами помешает.
А,
нет, не помешало. Зикс забрал.
They turn to focus Nova.
I like
Nova
that.
would like drift away, pull back, refuse to engage them.
Stopping the resets from Echo gives them a little bit more space to play from.
Especially because Long did get a reset during that time. So he's going to leave the base, use that time to regain control around this Rift Herald, which is still on the map. And there's the possibility that Nova get both early objectives.
Sure looks like they are planning for that, TJ. Setting up some vision towards the top side now.
У меня уже персонажи закончились, ну вы чё, блин.
Trying to put that ward down, but now it's been cleared out. Nova starting to establish control here.
So Storm is our first item for this Tristan.
Бля, не могу найти вот это левого второго
at using their third ability, the bouncing bomb. So they're going to go ahead and apply that to towers especially, and just be able to melt towers. That's how Pressure's hoping.
Тристана, куда ты врываешь? А, ты так решила? Того Тристана вместе. Да. И плюс барона забирают.
They're gonna be able to get turret as well because he has demolished the second that wave crashes. That turret will just melt. This is the dream for Pressure. In the meantime, Rift Herald does get taken by Nova Esports, so Pressure abandons the bot lane far for a moment. The full team rotates into mid.
Trying to get the Transcendent Embrace the pull in remake, looking for a catch.
And the teamfight dream is pretty good. Transcendent Embrace into Tidal Wave, double Enchanter spells set up for Pressure and Echo to just combo on the center of enemy players. Furious Gaming do need to full fly with their players there to execute that plan. Here's the turret trade we were talking about.
Performing best when you have that full team effort.
Oh, he doesn't get it.
Still up.
Oh.
Gonna need a few more waves, but not if Nien has anything to say about it.
Yeah, he literally needs one more wave under the turret. He will delete it if he can get the sticky bomb on the turret. But that's why Nien's here, to make sure he doesn't.
And I'm liking what's happening here from Nova. No kills, but ahead in gold.
That's WRL!
That's a macro game for you.
Yeah! This is just a very clean demonstration of their strength and a very clear demonstration that they understand this matchup. Not even so much that Furious Gaming are like scary to them in fights, but that the only way Furious Gaming win this game is if they win really good fights.
So why accept the fight?
Why take fights? Nova Esports just playing passive, letting the game wash over them. What was you were talking about yesterday? Being like water. Fitting the vessel they're contained in.
Yes, that is correct, TJ. I did in fact say when water is in a glass, it becomes the glass. Be formless. Be like water, my friend. I definitely did not misquote that. Yes.
My point is, that's Nova Esports right now.
Absolutely. Facing off against a different opponent. Yeah, playstyle adapts as well.
Rift Herald summons in the middle of the map, it'll crash.
They have, of course, the Corki, well, not the Corki, but rather the Satchel. Not necessary, but they still find a mid lane turret. Engage coming through here. Libra got a good fight for them last time around, but this time, a much more difficult task to execute. Pressure starts to rush in, looking for the first kill. Gets isolated. Long starts to jump in as well. The exhaust starts to come in. Prevents damage out from Long.
And you see some danger there for Furious Gaming. Their entire composition is functional around that combo. Tidal Wave, Transcendent Embrace, Pressure jumps in, Echo jumps in. They try that there, don't find the kill, And if Nova had had the resources or the desire to re-engage,
Хорошо,
it would have
1-0,
been
в принципе,
so
подожди,
dangerous
это
for them.
ж также
Very
всё
lucky,
синяя
Furious
команда
Gaming.
доминирует, да?
Nova do not re-engage.
Хотя по очкам, ну, не
But they're
знаю.
desperately taking
Те по
swings
башням
now
уже
as the
2
gold lead
снесли.
continues to grow, nearing
И по
4,000
убийствам. И по
consistent.
голде красная команда обгоняет.
And Neon taking
Китайцы
another shot.
Аргентину.
Off in the side lane with the Howlbreaker Corki. Gets them a turret through the chaos. While Furious Gaming were
Так,
committed to the
помогает
mid-fight.
Мяснику забрать красный баф.
And the saddest part about that, TJ,
Okay.
was you said you were
Красный
worried
баф
that Nova were
забирает
going to
Зикс.
re-engage against
Нет,
Furious
Тристана.
Gaming in a 4
Ну
versus
да, она как
They were about to
AD-керри, ей
lose a
тоже.
12 versus 5.
They didn't have the players, like I said. I think if they have 5 players,
Бешеный
they
адский
100%
урон.
recommend. You know, 4v5, it's dangerous because Pressure still does have damage. But
Пошли на низ, забирать сета. Всей толпой, всей оравой. Сет влетает, понимает, что не уйдет. Ульта в него, но он был под стазисом. И минус 1. Также дракон улетает, потом, чуть-чуть Аргентин. Один в один все-таки сета тоже забрали, но да, он без жизни улетел. Считает танки и минус танк там, минус танк здесь.
All of that Tristana damage.
Dragging up in 3 seconds, and as long as
Пытается красный забрать красного дракона, это огненный.
Furious
У
can
них будет
contest
баф
this, they
по
need
огню,
to
походу.
contest this. Infernal is too powerful to give over for free.
Especially with the composition, but Prussia's already brought down so low so quickly. Echo jumps into the pit, but still a lot of security with the chilling smite jumping in with the package, but he had the exhaust back over onto Nyen. It doesn't matter as Echo goes down.
Защищать, чтобы
Looking at the spikes.
Они все на лоу хп. Казик охотится. Охотится, но нами в защиту. Нами в защиту, чтобы... Нет. Нет, Зикс не добил ультой. Хотя я думал уже вот-вот на донышке. Там какая-то хилочка была. Сет сносит. Защищает Т2. Так, красного дракона забрали, теперь они пошли на барона. Или это не барон, это как-то, блять, по-другому. Так сказать, первая стадия еще барона. Так сказать, пока еще не барон. Опять новый замес. Мечница получила ебуковки, просто ушла. Красный толпой. Относительно толпой Сет влетает, получает ебуков, стазис, но понимает, что надо уходить, и нет. Да, это как ее, Тристана отходит от игры, и Сет отходит. И того 2 в 0 размен не очень хороший. Теперь все-таки китайцы начинают догонять.
TJ is new age Corki, he's max range, he does it all.
А у них еще все, они уже снесли 4.
It sounds like winning. That's a good answer. Check out the range he's playing from this fight. Watch Neon poking here at Echo, kiting back, hovering at the side. Just this entire fight out of range of any retaliation. Doing significant damage. And of course on the opposite side, Prussia, who is so much of the team's damage because he doesn't have a way in, the only person he can properly attack is the tankiest person who can enemy team, who just takes those hits no problem at all.
I think it is worth mentioning, I mentioned earlier that the Riptone had despawned. That is not the case. It did actually get picked up by Nova Esports.
Нихера себе у них Зикс перекачит 3,5к.
And I want to tie this all back together, TJ.
Okay.
В отличие от Мечницы.
Nova Esports, they drafted 2 tanks. And the 2 tanks are too tanky.
I like it. Nova Esports too tanky to be burned down by Tristana. That is going to be true until that third crit item is complete, at which point Tristana will blast through them. So I'm still hanging on to that as Furious Gaming, you know, still being dangerous in a team fight. They are so built around Prussia exclusively. But they haven't made any windows for Prussia.
Remake stepping far forward.
Начинается новый замес, нами
Wasted all.
но ни в
Tidal
кого
Wave
не
not up for
попадает.
this fight, and that should be the go signal for Nova. They can do whatever they want now that Tidal Wave is down. They know they can win a team fight easily.
А Зикс...
Well, they decided the Baron's more worthwhile, and so they shut that one up, send long easy to get that done. Meanwhile, the rest of Nova continues to shove out the mid-wave Libra.
Барон будет, мне кажется, совершенно переломный.
They see that Tidal Wave and they say, okay, well, Furious Gaming aren't going to be able to start a fight now.
You have no flash, Libra. They know your limits as they manage to get the knockback, pulling in the set, and he gets taken down before he can get anything done.
Он просто в соло
Pressure does
залетает.
find some gold, but here's the punish.
Yummy! He just eliminates Kapasiba! Where did his helper go?
Pressure's on the wrong side of the map.
Isolated alone, but still Remake's been pulled in. The Transcendent Embrace starts to come through. The Exhaust over on the pressure. He might have damage, but not against the 3 from Nova. Sato sent packing and running towards the base of Nova Esports.
No!
Башни спалился.
Long hunts him down. And that should be the game. Nova find the Baron, find the lead.
Это все
And
куплено.
as promised, Furious Gaming don't get their 5v5 team fight until it is too late.
Wave a little too thin though, so Nova Esports have effectively won, but not literally.
Теперь Т2 на миде.
They'll take their time as they have all game. Knowing that Furious Gaming just haven't been able to find a team fight into them. They've done such a good job of just retreating whenever the pressure is real, engaging whenever they know that cooldowns are spent, and Nova are out of position, or sorry, Furious Gaming are out of position. And Furious Gaming have never been able to set up a frontline engaged for pressure. If you're going to play a Tristana like this, you need to build space for him to access people like Remake, like Neon in these fights. And instead, he's always stuck at the very max range of the fight, auto-attacking auto-attacking Yami. And those are the two people who want to be auto-attacked. They like it.
Here's my thing, TJ. I look towards pressure right now.
Okay.
And we look at I see a composition that was meant to enable him. But from Sauter and Kapasiba, they're building to keep themselves alive. Every man for himself right now. Everyone needs to hold their own against the onslaught from Nova Esports. You don't have time to worry about pressure. It's so difficult to play for the Tristana here.
Yeah. I mean, so many of these fights we've seen Pressure be the forward-most player on the team. And that's what I'm talking about when I say that just the positioning seems to be undoing him. Because it doesn't matter if you need to die to enable him. You need to die to enable Pressure with this team composition.
Unfortunately for them, Libra has gone past the point of effectiveness. He had some strong moments to begin with, but now with Nova Esports scaling up to a powerful point, we see a dominant goal lead.
Here we go, a last stand for Furious Gaming. The WL got some words in here.
Absolutely well said. Final stand as Nova Esports look to try and chunk them out, escort the waves in.
I do love Remake just spending Mega for about one cooldown, just every time he throws it in, gets some damage, sees what happens.
As he should.
Yeah. Keeps forcing Furious Gaming to reset, to lose a couple of waves, that sort of thing.
Quick recall out from Remake as the Baron comes up in half a minute.
Love this from Chinese teams. Why would you take like a risky team fight underneath the Nexus when the Baron is coming up?
I just keep hearing you say you love these teams.
I do. I legitimately, like, we were talking about our expectations for the event. Nova are the 3rd seed out of the WRL. I think they will be in the contention for winning this tournament.
So what do we see here from Nova? What have we managed to gather away from this? From Nova so far?
I think one of our big questions was the presence of Nian in this team. You know, he was a sub for Guoko, who is so good as like an assassin player. What does Nian add to this roster that they didn't have before? Does he fit in with the team? Yes, to all counts. And I think what he has really demonstrated here is this ability to play a more passive contribution style. Let other people be the carries, let other people be the front lines and play this almost Korean poke game.
And they do it so well here as Libra continues to look for
Вот нами отлично ультануло.
Down over onto the set, but he gets a big shield as the exhaust comes in. He goes golden, buying some time with the hourglass. Transcendent Embrace pop out from Furious Gaming, looking for an entry over by the side angle. Angle with a big stun, but no follow-up from the rest of his team. Yami dashes in with the body slam. Nearly takes out the Riven, but flash away will keep him alive. Only the one falling from Furious Gaming.
Good kiting team fight from Furious Gaming. You can see their mechanics and communication on display. You can also see that Nova gave them no opportunities. Yuzi played exactly to the limits of his HP bar and cooldowns, soaked up a maximum amount of damage by stasising so aggressively, he created like a cordon. You could not go past the stasis Renekton because he would come out of the stopwatch and destroy you.
Furious Gaming walking back towards Baron, but too late. Pick up. And over to Nova Esports. This is going to be their second Baron.
Все уже, красная команда, двое 15, синий еще никого нету.
You're winning by that much, Grandin, and you steal his Krugs.
Oh, absolutely.
His Krugs.
Psychic damage, DJ.
Let the man have a rock collection.
Ну, они уже нихера себе,
Those are geodes.
Перелет получается на 18 тысяч голды.
Yeah.
Они уже перефармили Аргентину, китайцы.
I don't know if I can condone that. I feel like...
Блин, вечно какие-то вот... Я смотрю, какие, да, уже соревнования идут. Идет постоянно, вот, допустим, Португалия. Китай выиграет. Там, я не знаю, блядь, Тайвань с Таиландом. Блядь, а кто отлетел? Я вот не помню, вот только до этого по-моему, Тайвань.
Still displaced heavily here by Yami. His explosive cast makes it difficult. They push that back into base, but all inhibitors gone, like you've mentioned. Super minions crashing in. The package delivered and sent by Nien as they move in onto the Nexus. A first pickup, a second, and the Nexus going down. Game number 1 to Nova Esports.
You know, we talked about it at the very beginning. We tried to be fair to Furious Gaming. They are playing versus one of the best teams in the world.
Absolutely.
And I think you can honestly say that was a really solid performance from Furious Gaming.
Right.
There's a lot to be happy with. You should be smiling on stage right now.
Потому что вы недостаточно китайцы, поэтому вы не выигрываете.
But man, your team fights looked good. You understood your game plan. You played around the macro very well. It's just Nova. They're going to take every bit of gold from you. They're going to take your red buff with a 20k lead. They're going to do everything they can to stop you from being able to get the team fights. And if you want to try and turn this around game number 2, that's what Furious need to figure out.
Ryan, we'd like to see Buzz Libra on the set. I feel like that's a very good, proactive player that you have in your midst right now. Someone that was able to make moves to help your team out.
When you're playing set, there is nothing that feels better than seeing a big reaction and suplexing him into like 5 people. And he did that over and over again. And I think the biggest problem was that Nova are such a good team in kind of regional play, in the matches that Furious Gaming are used to playing. You do that, you cause that much disruption, you run the team fight. The line of scrimmage is now where the set is causing havoc. What you saw time and time again when that engage happened against Nova is they all fall back, they reset, they go, oh, there's a big man here. He's got cat ears. We're going to fight him, we're going to get rid of the set, and then we're going to move back forward. And you never had an opportunity for the backline that was supposed to engage behind him, behind Libra, actually getting traction onto Nova.
Well, I learned something that one of the criteria for attacking the guy is the cat ears.
You do need to be a cat boy in order to beat Nova Esports.
All right, fair enough. Well, we're going to toss it back over to the analyst desk, Tihan, and the rest to break down game number 1 of the second series here with Nova Esports and Furious Gaming.
Catboy?
TJ?
TJ?
TJ. What?
That's true. That's how you play set.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens here. If Furious Gaming will take you up on that. Catboys for the future here. Thanks, TJ. All right, Nova Esports taking the victory there, but it didn't start the way that we thought it would. It was a 4-0 lead here for Furious Gaming before Nova really started turning it on here. As you take a look at the victorious squad, they, though, although we're down in terms of kills, were definitely fine in terms of gold. But let's go back to the draft, like starting there. What jumped out at you, and there was a point you wanted to make in terms of the quirky zigs.
This is something that we saw from some of the WRL teams yesterday as well. The quirky zigs is starting to gain relevance, I guess. They're starting to prioritize it even more, and I see it as kind of a replacement to the Varus Ziggs combo that was dominating.
Hey, we were having a couple of issues here with Omo's mic. We'll get that one up and running in just a little bit. But Corky Zig, something that we've seen here from the Chinese teams start to come up with priority. Stuart, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, about the draft, I think the Tristana last pick by Prussia was a bit of an interesting one. He has played it before, and he's kind of known as this lone wolf in the mid lane, you know, with the supportive bot side from Karma, from Army. They tried to get Prussia ahead. They tried to get a lot of pressure and give a lot to Prussia in the end. But, you know, you talk about the early game as well a little bit. The early game was a little bit of overextension and everything by Nova, which allowed Furious Gaming to get a few kills, but then, as you said, you know, for that, Nova were able to get the objectives.
Yeah, this felt like a battle between micro and macro here, where although the scoreboard said 4, almost 5 there, it was 5-0 at the beginning of this skirmish here. You could see the gold lead was very much in the hands of Nova, Oma.
Yeah, and that's exactly the price that FG had to pay to get those kills. The play that we keep talking about, Libra's roam, it came at the cost of farm. Every kill after came at the cost of towers, came at the cost of waves, and that's exactly what the Eastern teams do so well. They will make you pay for every kill you want to get.
Yeah, I think with the Libra pick as well, it's his most played pick for the whole year in the Baron lane, and you saw that he's confident of going in. He'll suplex it when he wants to. He'll go in. He got the 3-man face break as well in the early game because a little bit of extension by Nova. But as I almost said, you know, when you're roaming around as a Baron laner, you're using waves, and then they lost that top lane tower. They lost that Baron lane tower, which allowed Nova to get that little bit of an advantage.
Right, both Rift Heralds heading on over to Nova. Iza just farming up, and there was a moment there where I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe if they keep it in a 4v4, it'll be fun. But then we checked down to the gold leads in the jungle, and Long, although it died, still had more gold than Echo, who was in those fights. And it was just this ability to find where the gold is, find where the farm is, and almost do the math beforehand. Be like, okay, yes, we'll lose someone down on the bottom side of the map. We'll rotate Corki to the bottom side of the map, who can wave clear, not lose this tower, and keep them down there. They're not soaking gold in the lanes, they're not farming their jungle camps, and we are, and therefore we're still comfortable despite this kill deficit.
And that's the power of Kha'Zix as well. That's why when you utilize Kha'Zix well, he's such a threatening pick because of what he can do to you in the side lanes. Might not be the best team fighter, but if you give him some space, if you have a Baron laner, if you have a solo laner who has a lead, Kha'Zix just goes there and they just run the show.
And I feel like with the Western teams against China as well, we saw Vivo Keyed yesterday try and go for this passive playstyle against a Chinese team. Today, you know, Furious, they're trying to go for this aggressive, proactive playstyle against, you know, against Nova. But it just doesn't seem that anything works against, you know, these Chinese teams.
Ziggs, baby. What can I say? Ziggs is broken.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ziggs always dishing out a ton of damage. You saw it there at the end of the clip with Furious Gaming throughout the game. They were popping smiles, they were laughing about it. They were hyped when they were getting the kills, but then of course they were, you know, even temperament as that gold chart started to slide down to the opposite side. Yeah, this was a very lopsided win at first, or at the end. But at first, again, keeping it within that 4,000 gold lead area up until 10 minutes, where eventually Nova were like, okay, we're ahead. They're trying to split. Now's the time that we go ahead and have our carries in the position that we want to close it on out here.
Я не понимаю смысла вот этих вот графиков. Типа желтая доминировала в любом случае. Это как? График доминации в чем? 5-1-16.
Because they got the kills in the early game, but they weren't able to get anything really with it. They were losing pressure on the other side of the map. They were losing pressure pretty much all over the map.
Ни одного тавра, блядь, Аргентина не
kills, but if you can't get enough
Они вообще играли, у них что там за рейтинги?
Yeah, and I think one of the change-ups that I would love to see from Furious in the next game as well is that jungle pick. You know you're playing against one of the best, if not the best jungler in the world. You're playing a Riven, and the Kha'Zix matchup is extremely difficult. I think you need to try to cut your losses. Try to just all in for your mid laner, all in for pressure. See what he can do. Play some utility. You know you're going to lose farm to make those plays. Play something that doesn't need so much farm.
Right. Earlier we were saying Xin Zhao is something that we've seen Furious Gaming play into the jungle with Echo, but that got banned away. Nova did their research, so you went with the Riven to hopefully make some plays, maybe get a snowball going against the Kha'Zix, but although there were kills happening and it went on to pressure, your jungler wasn't getting kills and then was giving up farm in the jungle and then falling behind.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is just farming up the jungle just as, you know, do. I think Kha'Zix is one of the fastest clearing junglers when it comes to, you know, past that level 5 point pass when you get the evolve. But then you go on to Riven's side, you know, Riven wants to be a little bit more proactive, especially in, you know, a little bit of the early game, which didn't really work out for them. I think it was like 1,000, 2,000 gold behind, and they were still 4 kills ahead. So you have to try and do something to try and shut down Long.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on pressure to make something happen here, but it feels like that's the way that they're going to have to double down on it. Rafa was saying earlier they know him as the lone wolf, so pressure is going to have to make something happen here. Again, a slight change in the jungle maybe to get more supportive to set him on up rather than the Riven, but it feels like Furious Gaming got their best shot at what they wanted, and Nova had an answer here.
I honestly think the draft from Furious was not a bad draft. It was a good draft. It set them up for success. It played to their strengths. The problem was Nova just really just too good. The moment you have one weak spot in the draft, and that one tiny weak spot was just the Riven. That's it. They exploited it, they play around it, and they just closed the game up.
I keep thinking back to moments because I agree with what you were saying earlier, Stuart. If they get these early team fight wins, you have to transition it into some sort of objective.
Я так и до сих пор не узнал, что это за команда.
When I replay the match in my mind, I don't necessarily remember where they could have gotten more out of it, mainly because the Corki went to the bottom side of the map. That was the focus that Furious Gaming had. They said, okay, he's on the top side on the Renekton, is tearing up our towers, so let's head down to the bottom side and get that tower, and then we could start flipping around the map. But Corki was just able to wave clear, use the rockets clear to push them back, and Tristana Pressure went down there. I think it lived with about like 400 health, not enough to tank it, and they could never get minions close enough to then take away the armor from the
It's just right place, right time, really, for Nova at the end of the day. You know, being able to realize, you know, when you need to be defensive, when you need to play aggressive.
Первый призовой фонд $640 тысяч долларов, второй $320 тысяч долларов, третий, четвертое места по $160 тысяч долларов.
A little bit interesting. We've been talking about Corki builds, and I was looking at it. It's like, okay, Hullbreaker, Black Cleaver, I hate it, but you know, it is what it is. Divine Sundra. That's like a Solari Charge Blade. I was like, wait, your build is, you're not building crit. Where's the Solari Charge Blade? Where is it? What is going on? Like,
17 по 24 по 10 тысяч.
I'm honestly not too much of a hater of the
Все, получается, получают бабки.
Because I kind of talked about it. It lets you scale out, lets you kind of do what you want to do.
Общий призовой фонд $2 миллиона.
I'm neutral about it. I do agree with your point about the charge blade, but I think at that point in the game, after you finish your 3 items, the game's kind of done, right? You can just build whatever you want.
Brando and Zoman if you want to. You know, Bissell Mask, why not? Let's go.
Again, whenever you have those champs that build AP and AP,
Сейчас
or
ФЖ
AP and AD,
против Нова
it's always creative what they're able to pull up here. As Furious Gaming and Nova have returned to the stage for Game 2, we'll have
Потом ФВ будет против ГЛД.
And again, Furious Gaming coming back with the smile, seeing what they can learn from it, take from it. Again, getting early momentum, maybe not cold lead, but early momentum, very much like
Ладно,
Kong,
сейчас
but
давай
then needing to transition into something
Fusion
else
Gaming.
and
Опять
finding
они
out
же
where the
будут.
moment to have some discipline to either be more aggressive or step back.
НВ это в смысле Нова, у них просто сокращенно, я понял. Fusion Gaming также Португалия.
And hopefully that's a learning lesson that Furious Gaming are able to put into practice as we
Китая.
get into game number 2
Китай.
again. Trying to
Giants
make that
team.
comeback here. The first
Так,
5
Китай
to 8
против
minutes
Португалии.
here, looking good until everyone realized, oh, the gold lead is still getting worse and worse because Nova's just playing the map a little bit better. They're getting these Rift
Китай
Heralds. They
против Португалии.
did not have an entrance in. Maybe it's a fight at Rift Herald when it's just a 2k differential, but Furious need to identify that first to take the next step against
Спирит,
Nova.
привет.
I mean, there are a lot of things to be happy
А
about.
где картинка? Подожди, что, картинка пропала? Сейчас должна вернуться. Я просто чекал, я чекал инфу. Возможно, пока я чекал другую страницу, это потемнело. Я чекал просто, кто с кем играет. Это Португалия с Китаем. Китай сейчас их отдрюкал. Ой-ой-ой. Тут ребята появилось, да. Появилось, потому что я просто другую страницу. Я же с браузера. Получается, я просто с Яндекса чекать инфу,
of WOL, the LATAM region, trying to find some victory against
чекал, поэтому она
Nova
потемнела.
Esports from the W.
So in the first
Здорово,
draft,
братан, ты вообще как дела? Что там, выспался? Вчера работал?
Get pressure on the, you know, the AD carry in the mid lane. They went for like a double supportive style in the bot lane. Pressure's got such a wide champion pool, he can honestly play.
Они вообще Аргентину разъебали чуть ли не сухую, хотя Аргентина поначалу обгоняла. Вот те персонажи, которые мы играем, их нету. Так, Лисина, бан Казиса, Казикса, бан, еще там, какой, Лисусинт этот справа, не помню, тоже в бан, тетку на помощь в бан, с молниенными глазами, которые вчера с ночной отсыпался, а я сегодня ночной. Уже отсыпаться буду.
Yeah, Jace was the sacrifice made here.
Я нормально, чё вот отдохнули в Ростове.
Furious go with if the Xin Zhao's gone in 1v1. Set gets taken away too from Libra, and we saw Libra being efficient.
This means Lucian is open and also Jace is open, so I feel like it's going to be one of the two. Obviously, Karma is still open, but I feel like you have to take either the Jace or the Lucian. Maybe it could be something that Pusher could play in the mid lane. I think it's going to be a big priority pick for him, but you can't take the Karma in a situation. I think it's too much of a risk. They go for the Jace.
I like this one, but I also like the fact that Lucian is still up, so we might finally get to see a WRL team play the Lucian, because I personally like that matchup into the Jace. There we go. I would love to see this flex to follow the Jace pick.
Love that. Follow the Jace because Jace can go multiple.
There we go.
areas,
Now it's
so
gonna
there
follow
it
the
is.
Chase.
So now you've got Lucian, Ziggs. Ziggs, the damage master, leading the way in that last game. Just always tossing the bombs. What is the answer here for Furious Gaming?
I think it'll be interesting to see how Neon does in that matchup in the mid lane, because in the previous game, you know, it was his first game really with Nova coming in as a sub, and had a pretty decent performance on the Corki in the first game. And that's some sort of aggression. That's crazy aggression.
Я на
Well, this is
работе вообще
something that we
помираю
did see
последнее
yesterday in the
время.
RRQ matchup, where they played the Zed counter pick. They played the Zed to really just counter the Lucian in the side lanes as the game goes on. But the thing now is, I would love to see if Nova can flex this Lucian pick to the top lane to follow the Jace and pick up something else in the mid lane. I want to see the depths of their diversity here.
That's what I figured. Galio get locked on it. It's like, all right, you know what? You wanted to go ahead and pick some beef with your assassins. We can pick some beef too. Maybe
Так, кто у нас? У Аргентины у нас Зак. Это второй слева убийца. Первый идет это как бы танк-мечник. Потом Аргус. Нет, не Аргус, как его, блин, зовут, я не помню. Я уже всех позабывал, нафиг. Это бык-боец, полутанк. Тоже они решили по ближнему урону. Сейчас пытаюсь... Шен. Второй слева это Шен, по-моему.
Nova set to make another ban. Again, they could go with the jungle pool here.
Зикс.
Oh my, wait, this might be
Справа это второй.
That would be really cool as well. That's one of his highest win rate champions in the WRL. I don't think he's
Интересно,
lost many games
Тристана
in that
будет.
one. And it's
Нами забанили, ведьму забанили. Забанили, ёперный театр. Я просто смотрю, я понимаю, как бы, кто они там, да, по способности. Так, справа вторая забанена, это Сенна. А, Ривен была. Ривен, неужели я не нашел Ривен? До этого была в схватке Ривен.
I don't like these bans. I'm gonna be very real with you here. If you have Jace top, why are you banning away Renekton? You need to be banning Kali.
Вот никем знакомым они не играют. Так, Моргана, точно это ведьма, которая была. Пытаюсь я просто вспоминать. Так, Люциан. Правая команда китайская идет Люциан, Зикс, потом так, Синжао за бани стоит. Так, Зикса я уже прочитал.
Turn here by Furious Gaming to go with the Orianna. So there is some of your AP that you were talking about earlier. Still waiting on
Галио. Это такой каменный голем. Также Гарен. И пока еще непонятно. У португальской команды Дариус, Шен. Бык этот, которого тоже имя не могу запомнить. Алистар, Ариана и Джин.
One thing that with Furious Gaming here in these specific picks, they picked Zed
Так,
Alistar
осталась
very
только
fast back to
китайская
back.
команда.
They took
Так,
the
у меня
whole
дома
time
пиздец,
here with
я
the
на
Orianna and Jax
работе,
on both
звонит
these
жена,
picks, and now
говорит,
Nova
пришла
gets to sit
соседка
back and have
снизу,
the pick of
говорит,
it.
мы ее топим чуть-чуть. Параллельно
Параллельно
у меня на работе порыв тоже. Прорыв надо. Пизда, у меня тоже вот такая, знаешь, херня добивает, когда ты находишься где-то на работе или еще где-то, тебе звонят, тут пизда, нахрен. Так, а китайская команда поменялась. Ну, короче, Энвелонг он взял, я сейчас найду ее. Это Фиора. Ладно, нашел причины, еще и унитаз сейчас побежал, я в шоке. Бля, не говори. Когда вот уходишь с работы, вечно что-то сыпется. Мне такая же херня. Но у меня один плюс, у меня нету нижнего этажа. У меня подо мной живет только земля. Так, бой сейчас начнется.
Thanks, Tихан. We got Tall T out here looking and watching out for game number 2 between Nova as well as Furious Gaming.
Well, I think one of the things that we were talking about on the desk, we were talking about how Furious need to activate in the mid-late game.
Right.
And I'm really nervous about that because I don't believe with what we saw during game number 1, they can get to a mid-lane game position with enough gold on their carries to activate.
Right, we see like the second phase of Furious Gaming now. Right, like this, like they went into last game, we had some good moments, but we had some concerns as well.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing for Furious
А,
Gaming
братан,
is
это унитаз там надо подойти. Так, стычка на миде сразу 5 на 2. 5 на 2. Будет что, будет что, будет что. О, нет, на сопле Нова чуть, блядь, двоечку не слила. Ёперный театр.
All that I'm talking about, Furious Gaming needing some kind of early
Прям всем
gold.
мидом.
They walk into the early gold. And I do not know how, but they do not find those kills.
Так, мешают синим лесникам забирать лес.
I literally think somebody wasn't auto-attacking. That was like weird. They should have
Так,
had those
Арианна.
kills.
Арианна с быком. На топе... Я не могу запомнить.
Kind of tragic. Furious Gaming don't get those kills, and so here's what I'm worried about. They have all these late game carries.
А, на топе Джин был, или Джак, или Джин, или Джак, как-то так. На миде Шен. Блядь, да почему Шен? Его ж не Шен зовут. Я что, не туда посмотрел? Шен.
Because as we have seen already in game number 1, the thing Nova does is blow out the map when it's in an even state.
Да бля, не Шен это.
I have to say, the ways they get
Пришел Джин на мид помогать. 2 на 2. Сейчас может слиться. Нет, все нашел. Да блин, не Шен это. Нет, не Шен. Бабки не ходи, это не Шен. Это кто-то другой.
Garen mid, Garen support.
Garen everywhere, but also Garen into Z. They go.
Так, Алистар, нет, я думал, что один. Подошла Арианна. Подошла Арианна. Я не пойму, она автоатакой пользуется? А, вот он, шар. Я думаю, где шар? Так, стычка Дариуса и Шена.
Pressure still looking for his level 4, finally finds it, but he's going to have to recall as that happens as well. Nova with a coordinated effort to recall right now.
Алистар с Арианой в защите. Он его байтит.
Oh, stop him.
Yeah! And why this is impactful? Because Iza is going to be able to clear the wave, shove it in.
Yeah, that's like 20 gold right there.
Maybe Pressure lose some gold,
and more importantly, EXP.
Все. Наверху на топе у синей команды Джейс. Нашел я его. Пока название найдешь. Я тебе говорю уже, это тактика киберспорта. Тупо все по правильному, все изи. Где тут наши? Папа. Нигде тут наших нету. Тут вот, которым мы персами играем, никого нету. Никого. А, Z, точно, на миде Z. Не Шен, а Z. Но это тоже такие убийцы, и Шен, и Z.
I feel like that's a joke they're trying to make your TJ. It's over 9,000! I know what the joke you're trying to make your TJ, but I'm sorry, it's not happening here. Long moves his way up.
Джейс пытается забрать, думал, понял, тоже с кустов, все, первая кровь у красной команды, китайцы опять португальцев, аргентинцев имеют, это печально. Z идет на помощь. Авось забрать кого? Ну, а по сути хотя бы нет, просто защитить, засейвить вышку. На низу... Ага, еще бы вспомнить, как зовут. Блин, я просто пытаюсь вспомнить здесь в основном название персонажей, потому что я начинаю путаться. Из тех, которых мне знакомы, это...
And of course, we build up so much with the WRL, but we need to see Furious Gaming step out as well. We want to see good performances for them moving into their futures match.
Китаец красный или синий? Красный. Ну, оранжевый, вернее. Аргентина голубые. Так, ну, Зеду вряд ли что-то такое грозит, потому что у него есть блинк тенью, если правильно отыгрывать. Так, на низу... На низу Гарен. Гарен, походу... Не-не-не, Гарен уйдет, Гарен уйдет. На помощь Гарену приходит мечница, но она, в принципе, может ебуков насувать, она лучница. И тут еще Галио прилетает с ультой. Короче, 4 против 3 собираются, а наверху лучник забирает Т1 топа. Топа для синей команды, да. Все, первая башня, первый килл. И замес идет на драконе, но те вроде бы видят, но нет, да, никто дракона не забирает. Галио получает ебуков. Галио Z за ним охотится. И забирает. И тэпается на... Вот, на ульте хорошечно он отработал. Оставил свою ульту, пошел насовывать. Забрал его и тэпнулся дальше. Вот в этом прикол Зета. 1-1. Ничейная ничья. Португалия пытается забрать барона. Забрали. Нет. Да, нет. А кто забрал дракона? А, Джакс. Джакс забрал барона. Так, на низу забирают, пытаются забрать Т1, и они заберут его. Гарен. Как ее там зовут? Тарантай, все. Ну, Гарен, вы за ним не погонитесь? Мое удивление. Гарена могли вдвоем забрать. Чего, почему нет? Джеймс и Алистар. Что? Они его просто отпустили, по сути. Начали смещаться на мид. Джеймс там остался. Так, дополнительное освещение получает синяя команда на миде. И палец поставленный. Синяя команда начинает щемить Гарена. Уже наверху. Тут еще Галио улетает. Нет? Я что-то подумал, что это ульта Галио. Забирает Джеймс Гарена. Следующая ульта от Зикса. Отходит Джакс. Иначе он сейчас тычкой отойдет. Мирной. Джеймс получает ебуков.
Chase after the Lucian, but Yen gets out. Some really good mechanics from Echo in that fight, yet again proving what we've been saying all game, all series, all tournament. You cannot count out these LATAM teams in just raw team fights, in just raw mechanics. Furious Gaming demonstrating they can go toe-to-toe in this fight.
А ты претендуешь на призовой фонд? Нет. Тут общий призовой фонд $2 миллиона. Но скоро, кстати, будут и российские соревнования. Там в основном будут участвовать вот знаменитые блогеры по Валдрифту, которые имеются. Они, дело в том, что я так понял, проплатил Рутуб, и они будут, те, которые ютуберы, участвовать в соревнованиях на 300 тысяч общего призового фонда. Здесь, если не ошибаюсь, первое место идет 160 тысяч. Пусть комментировать. Да, не знаю, мне просто пока вчера на работе был, поглядывал, краем глазушка. Так, минус Галио. Не знаю, как он туда, зачем он туда пошел. Все пятеро собрались, красные начинают собираться, Гарен стопа подходит. Уже хотя бы 4, но у них минус то, что 4 и вышка, они вряд ли далеко от вышки пойдут. А здесь, ну, хотя бы все пятеро. Плюс... Ай, не дошел барон. Защитили они свою вышку. Защитили хорошо. Китайцы молодцы, блин. Как бы то оно ни было. Я для себя не знаю, мне просто... Не знаю почему, но мне Wild Rift начал что-то заходить и нравится. Я во всех аспектах пытаюсь его понять. Это заучить персонажей. Потому что я даже в Mobile Legends больше помню, потому что я больше в нее отыгрывал чаще. Мы с кентом просто рубились. Ну, он, возможно, даже до сих пор. Z пошел. Пошел обходить, но его все видят. Его заметили. Люциан заметил его. Ну, Z ушел, начинает фармить чужой лес. Тайский лес. Хотя откуда у Китая лес, блядь, да? Это, блядь, весь российский лес. Просто он в Китае уже. Так, барона пытаются забрать Китай. И я думаю, у них это более чем получится. Потому что Низ спушил Z. Нет, не Z. А, да, не Z. Это Джеймс пушил бот. И по миду пускают барона. Он вылупился. Ультанул Зикс. Не в ту сторону отошел Z. Начинают дамажить по барону. Он все-таки сносит Т1 на миде. Все первые Т1 всех трех лайнов снесены у Аргентины. Блять, они какие-то лютые, они не дают продохнуть. Вот этот просто... Дашь выйти? Нет, не дал уйти. Ой, как не дал уйти. Нова опять дает ебуков. Дарить, кадарить. Я не буду называть их пацанами. Я просто Португалия, Китай. А вот это Нова, Фиджи, туда-сюда.
Very, very well played. A complete understanding of how to get out of there safely as well.
He's walking nearby him. We see the rest of his team now.
Алистар Джи. Они могли бы ебуков получить, потому что очень нам печально поставил. Ага, потому что все смещаются на дракона. Дракон оттагрился и уходит хилиться. Все, нет смысла ни в каком драконе. А, на боту, в принципе, вышка снесена. 1-3. По очкам Китай уже обгоняет. У них по фарму 42 тысячи. Это на 12-й минуте. Это больше, чем хорошо. Там лес не успевает резаться, как он отсекается. Так, по миду пошли троечка. И ушли. Просто, да, убрали мобов и ушли.
Still only a 5-kill game.
And remember, we were talking about Furious Gaming as a team that wanted to last to the mid-lane game.
Красный баф забирает Джакс.
We're nearing the 15
Нет, не
minute
Джакс,
mark, where I can
Джин.
find the mid-lane game. And they're only 3,000 gold behind, 4,000 gold behind. That is not bad. That is better than we expected for Furious Gaming.
Забор,
They are going to have a swing, you know? They're going to have an at-bat here.
Синяя команда собирает, да, все команды собираются на миде, начинают атаковать. Алистар куда-то попёрся в соло, и за это он поплатился. Также еще забирают Джеймса и гонятся за остальными.
Yeah, I jinxed it. That was a very unfortunate team fight. And Prusher trying to fish something out because he knows that might be their game that just ended right there. That was their at-bat. That was their swing for a perfect team fight. And Remake baits them perfectly. Excellent movement. Satchel charges away from the action. And the rest of his team collapses to back him up. You have to know for Nova that that vital pick is left alone.
Losing patience and trying to force an engagement.
Трое против пятерых кудалом. Ну, по крайней мере, отвлечь.
Z
потерялся.
Need to finish one, all the other remake goes
Его
down
не
for
забирает
now,
барона?
and Nova Esports forced to back away from the
Нет,
Baron.
барон на месте и
Here's game with the
отхиливается.
defense.
Yet
Да,
again,
все.
incredible
Они не
mechanics
дали
on that
забрать
Zen from
барона.
Crusher. He is dancing all over the fight,
Основа, так
forces the
сказать, их
stasis
первая
out
необходимость.
from remake. Oh,
Да ладно. Зет еще
Coming in,
постарался
auto-attack.
уйти, но нет.
With the flash over the wall.
he
Echo, no
almost
way to
made
finish
it.
a kill.
That living shadow right at the edge of the redemption. He would have made it.
Блин, вот это просто самый первый персонаж, я
Very
им никогда не играл.
narrowly not able to get out of
Смотрю, он
time.
прям
Happens to be
такой,
just a few steps away from getting
прям
the
так
CC
как
that we've set.
отыгрывают этими персонажами, и
Really
еще
good
и
play by Prusher.
в мете на соревнованиях.
And it does
Заебать
continue to
какие-то
keep
бабки,
Furious
а
gaming
я
in
тут
this
просто
game.
думаю,
The
безначально
other
персонаж
thing is they need to get
конченый.
fights where Sarthur
Башки,
and
кончики,
Bobo
это
able to sustain
не потому, что у
damage.
меня пальцы из жопы
And one of the
растут,
things
а
I want
потому
to
что
highlight as
я
well,
не
it's
умею
not
играть.
just the mechanical
Вторая попытка
ability
забрать
to play the
барона.
champion, to play the Z,
На Шора.
but it's also this ability to understand.
It's the cerebral ability.
Они понимают,
Yes,
что
how to
он
get into a
там.
fight,
Нет,
where the angles
они
to
не
try
будут
and,
его
to
забирать.
try and flank from.
I mean, that
Они
fight
просто
where he full
уходят
combos onto
заступиться.
remake, forces all of remake's cooldowns, including the stasis, and then goes, okay, I'm a dip over the wall, and Echo can finish this kill, and I know Echo can get back out as well. Yes, like just really good team play by Furious Gaming. This is the thing that WL teams are so good at, and it's not like there's like a stereotype of, oh, you know, they're just really good at mechanically, and that means that they don't have the same like brain for the game or understanding of tactics. No, team fights are tactics. Team fights are 1,000 decisions a second.
Just like
Тем,
micro
кого
mechanics,
хер
right?
запомнишь,
You
как его зовут. Да ладно, забирает. Это еще Галио подлетает, но Галио уже поздно ультует.
reaching a critical point with this Garen Nova Esports take down the mid lane of a Furious
Гарен вас Гарен, бля.
Could stop making is fighting the Garen.
Flash forward from Yami, committed for the fight onto Sata, but unfortunately they won't be able to get that done down towards the bottom end.
Интересно,
Libra is
сколько
also
выигрывают
dealing with the
персонажи.
long, looking for a fight in the zone as well.
Борются за
Captain
синий баф. Кто
Unfortunately,
его забрал?
Build along
Я
anyone
тут
down
даже и не
for long
понять,
enough.
просто
I'm just
каша
really
мала.
impressed by a lot
На
of the
низу.
mechanics. Okay.
See what happens here. Niencio has his flash over
Кто
the other
это?
side, looking for the piercing line. Relentless piercing
Кем?
away, but still.
Так,
Libra
Люцин
with the kill.
отлетает от
A lot of these
руки.
individual fights are just clean
Ага,
on both sides.
от руки.
Held onto this flash.
Джем.
Oh, look at what happens here in the
Shockwave.
mid lane.
Я
Issa is
срочно
so
иду чекать.
very tanky. He's still alive.
Burning.
Undercharge picks
Burning.
up with
He
the honey
lives.
fruit and heals up through the ignite. Oh my goodness.
He's
От руки Джеймса
immortal at this point. This is peak Garen gaming.
He is immortal.
Yeah.
My goodness.
He was burning for such a long time, and just the natural Garen regen helping him out there, I think.
I mean, what happens here at this point, honestly?
Well, I don't, this is, I talk a lot about scaling for tanks, right? And
Yes.
we obviously always talk about damage scaling, but HP scaling is a very real thing in this game. If you're a tank and you
Барон
get
стоит, а
meaningfully
дракона
ahead,
4
it
секунды.
becomes just almost impossible to kill you.
Стычка идет на
Nice
миде.
pick up over on
Двое
Echo.
против четверых.
Silence means he doesn't get to use counter
Джеймс
strike.
сразу отхиливается
And so
на
it's
моба.
so hard to get past Yami, it's so hard to get past Yiza in these fights.
Джин.
Elder Inferno Drake now started up here by a long
Джин
starting
Джеймс,
force.
блин,
Furious
this is
game
again.
move into the pit.
Prusher needs a side
просто
angle, needs to
пытается.
access Remake or Neon.
С мэском не
Those are the two
приходит.
kills he can get.
If you can take one of them down, you have a chance of these fights, but it's going to be difficult, especially the front line that they have. The Mega Inferno Bomb starts to chunk out Echo. The smite is so far away. Prusher starts to walk into the pit, but he gets exhausted, goes to the back end, but he moves in
Так,
onto Iza.
фу-фу-фу-фу, я запутался. Ебучая
Prusher
стычка на
still
драконе.
lives. Unfortunately for that, Nova Esports do as well. They pick up, they go back
Да
into
ладно,
the
еще
pit.
никто не
Looking
отлетел,
to
такая
finish
стычка,
off
и
the
никто не
dragon, but
отлетел.
if they
Дракона
come
так
to
никто
dragon,
и не
they
забрал.
do not want to commit.
Все,
Sata
дракон
chases
так
after.
все-таки
Have you
ничейный
seen an Orion
остался.
this aggressive, TJ?
Мое
No one knew this
почтение.
good. Incredible play by
Ну, Галио
Furious
чисто
Gaming.
забирает.
Really
да.
well, like right on the edge of their mechanics in that team fight,
Глиф.
using such good team play to stop the very intelligent punishes from Nova Esports. For instance, Yiza flashing over the wall to chase Prusher after he expends all his cooldowns, standing on him spinning. How does he get out of that? Well, his team backs him up, saves him from the instant kill,
Зиг
gets Prusher
защищает
out,
свой
and then
мид.
does enough damage over the
Поверху
wall that
идет
the rest of
Галио,
Nova
не
Esports have to
Галио.
reset on this infernal drink.
Бла-бла-бла-бла-бла. Что ж ты,
Time for round two.
ёбаный.
And they're all on vision. That ward in the pixel brush, spotting them out.
A clear reset and re-entry into this fight.
Гарен.
So here we go, 5v5,
Нет, все
very
опять
likely for the
собираются
game.
на миде.
Long, a little further away, but he's picked up the blue buff, so never
Потому
gonna
что
worry about
Т2
running
на
on
боте
mana.
уже почти снесена.
Furious Gaming Starting to get loud on stage, looking for a pick.
Все на драконе, начинается месиво. Первый отъехал Галио.
Still gonna go down, but he picks up a heal in time, so he gets out for now. Still chasing after Echo into the back line. He's gonna be able to take that down low.
Гарен отъедет. Минус Гарен.
And Furious Gaming will take 3 down to Nova Esports.
They had a late game composition.
3 в 0. 3 в 0 Аргентина разносит. Мое почтение. И также дракона забирают.
Teleports back in, Prussia's on the dragon as a Coca-Cola pop-off.
Так, к повтору у нас идет. Влетает. Первый отлетает Галио. Потом уходит Z на лоу хп. Стазис ушел Галио, но Галио, блин, стрелок, но все равно получает ебуков, и Гарен также отлетает. И просто на лоу хп ушла мечница вот эта. Бля, я не понимаю, что смотреть, Team Gold, Difference. По сути, это типа Китай, он по голде пиздец как обгоняет, и сейчас Аргентина просто на раз-два догнала почти, 3000 разница была, ебать какая.
Not looking as even. Pressure fully online. Moves on to Nien. Executes it through the shield. Yami cannot block the Z.
Нихуёво. Что за унижение пошли? Что за унижение?
Stepping forward. Sato with a big shockwave.
А, сейчас может подохуеть Алистар. На топе под башней забирают. Нет, он в стазисе. Все-таки забирают Фиору. И также на... блядь, уже на половине хп отхилился. Его палят. Алистар. Догнал Алистар, застанил, но... блядь. Джеймс не пришел, он почему-то начал пиздить мобов, хотя могли бы забрать Гарена. А, то это как у Лицин, блядь, отлетает. Люциан. Нихуёво замес прошел. Прям. Китай сейчас будет что-то думать. Рассосались аргентинцы, рассосались по краям, и Китай уже на миде просто ждет. Они чуть-чуть подфармились. Джеймс пошел чистить низ, и 4 в 1. Джеймс пытается что-то сделать. О, Джен Z. Закинул тень, нанес урона, но...
Earlier we saw Long separated from the team in the
Джеймс
top lane.
почистил бот и пошел на мид. Пока
doing a little of every kind of damage right now. And they're doing it to Nova Esports, one of the best teams in the world.
Так, на топе есть. Джеймс забирает Галио. Что-то Галио какой-то ватный уже получил. Понятно, 4 в 1, чтобы он был не ватный. Контроль и все. Попытка забрать барона. Гарен палит эту всю ситуацию. На защите с той стороны стоит... Сейчас. И... Да ладно! Кто забрал барона? У кого барон? Я хуй понял, у кого барон, блин. Блядь, состилили китайцы барона. Нихуя себе. Хотя по голде уже... 3-3 по башням, по голде, все команда начинает опережать, но сейчас как они проебали барона. Вот это стиль, блядь, вот это они просто называются спиздили. Сейчас может быть, блядь, они только Аргентина начала отрываться, только от китайцев.
Second Coca-Cola pop-up. Look at this. Capacito plays it perfectly. Long doesn't care. That is milliseconds.
Мое почтение, влетела, забрала стазис и не ушла. Ну тоже не очень хороший размен. плане того, что это Миледи с мячом. Молодец, отыграла просто мою почти, состилила вообще.
As pressure will also use the stasis, a beautiful knockback, pulling him back in,
опять
but it's
стычка, блин, да я дайте посмотреть, как ее зовут, алло. Вы тут уже начинаете мид-пушить.
Nova Esports cannot pursue too aggressively.
Я не помню, как ее зовут.
Nova on the back foot after these fights. They need to be perfect to win now.
Fiora.
Furious Gaming have a massive advantage, but by no means is this game over either way. It's going to come down to these team fights. There's nothing else on the map to fight for.
Алистар. Вот это что за вот это красное? Бам, это что это? От какой команды? Я не понимаю. Хилка, что это?
Makes damage.
Так, все рассасываются чуть подальше для
Gaming.
телефона
Yeah, we
положить.
start to see Sartre really come online here.
Late game Oriana, this is the danger that the desk was talking about in this composition. You get to the late game and that Lucian of Neon suddenly not looking as deadly. On the opposite side, Prussia, Echo, Libra, Sartre, the whole team. Very, very scary in this late game.
Very.
So much to be done across the map right now. Nova Esports need to reset the waves, start to prepare things. Furious Gaming as well. You start to see for the primary carries.
Да, Аргентина начинает толкать. Но Джеймс, смотрю, все время пытается почистить бот и тем самым хотя бы иметь кач, пока все туда-сюда друг друга в жопу толкают на миде. И с той командой. Уай сейчас Аргентина может получить. Ну, Алистар нормально урона впитал. Прям больно. И Зед. Алистар с Зедом, смотрю, прям слезались. Прям вместе бегают и бегают. Блять, проспал часов цать.
It's a difficult game.
Absolutely.
It's like a rhythm game more than anything else, kind of DDR-like.
This is crazy, Danila.
Point being, it is incredibly precise.
Вот только стычки на миде. Почему они не расходятся? Ну, как бы, игра в том, что еще не то, что, блядь, толпой стоять, в кустах ждать, хер пойми чего, а еще чтобы подкачиваться на лайнах. Они вот хуяк пошли почистили. Хуяк еще что-то. Сейчас Гарен на бот почищает. Чтобы не пришли к башне. На топе почистил лица. На боте в кустах трутся аргентинцы. Что? Ну вот вы, что вам это даст? Вы просто ждете стычки. Уже рассосались. Все, Z идет, значит бой сейчас будет. Значит сейчас будут такие ебука, что не снились никому. Запалил. Только он забрал полет тут сразу. Новый не поставили.
Second Baron of the game up. You can see Furious Gaming establishing control first. Pressure around the corner.
Они уже последние 5 минут пытаются что-то друг друга попытаться. Они уже бы рассосались бы, прокачались бы, да, и начали бы ебашиться. Как-то непонятно. Так, а так, в принципе, все 15-го, кроме Алистара. Алистар 14-й, как у них Галио 14-й. В принципе, по качу идут нос в нос. Т2 падает на боте у Аргентины. Джеймс не успел засейвить, как он обычно это делал. Сейчас пойдет дальше сейвить. Вот что называется, когда играешь командой. Ты не только отвечаешь, это моя линия, я за нее и буду. Здесь она везде.
I mean, if Kapusiba lands the knock-up, that's very scary. He stays ahead of that, though, so not really any danger.
Галио трется.
In fact, it feels like a game where Furious Gaming are still in the lead. In charge, rather.
Yeah. Look at how Nova are approaching this, right? They have Yami, they have Yuza kind of building this border, this barrier. That was a mega inverted bomb just for vision, just to see what was there. Они, походу, моему примеру разбежались. Так, а на боте стычка. И... Не-не-не, да ладно, кто?
Этот под стазисом, этот под баблом. И этот тоже под баблом. Забрал хилку. Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй. Как же неудачно, блин, глицы. Это глицы подошел. Минус Джеймс. И синяя команда Z забирает барона. Отлично. Но Джеймс проснется уже без усиления барона. Здорово, хорош. Соревнования проходят по миру на Лигу Легенд. Я этим заинтересовался и вот решил следить со второго дня хотя бы начать. Ебашится Аргентина с Китаем.
But he has the living shadow, starts to dash away, going to go into the hourglass.
They're so far away, he has no teammates.
Все уже ангел-хранителя взяли. Приходит Алистар на спасение. И да, он выручает его. Но Алистар не жертвует своим очком. А на боте сносится Т2 у китайцев. $2 миллиона призовой фонд, чё бы нет. Интересно же. Хотя у нас в России скоро будут соревнования, но там 300 тысяч призовой фонд. Первое место за ним получает 160, по-моему, тысяч долларов. И там до 24-го места все получают какие-то призы. Минимальные, по-моему, 10 тысяч долларов на команду.
30 minutes and Furious Gaming are the closest team now to taking down a WRL region team.
They would be the first team to do it.
Ничего не происходит, они ни хрена непонятно. И зачем вы это говорите? Понятно, как китайцы до 20 где-то второй минуты лидировали. Сейчас Аргентина. Чё, кто? Кого я пропустил? Да, Зикса забрали. Где? Нет, Джакс подвигает Z. Z на помощь. Фиору заберет, не заберет? Да по идее должен забрать. Боты под усилениями. Да. Фиора отошла. Т3 снесен у китайцев. Неужели сейчас 1-1 будет? А получается, сейчас третья схватка будет. Давай все пасут его. Минус. И минус Галио. Да ладно, Аргентина. 1-1. Аргентина взяли. Мое почтение, как в предыдущем бою. В бою предыдущем было, когда китайцы тоже отставали в начале боя, потом отымели Аргентину. А сейчас наоборот. Пошли готовиться к третьему бою. Не, нихера себе у них под конец. Нихера себе у них под конец. У всех, смотрю, под конец есть воскрешение.
Furious Gaming yelling, shouting on stage. As that game nears its ending, it is deathly silent in this arena. There is not a word being spoken until right then, when the Nexus was in reach, when Furious Gaming knew they had done it, and that was the loudest any team has gotten so far.
Комментаторы, глянь, стал там рядом этом. Вы не знали, а я школьник. Так что слушайте, нахрен, блин. У тебя голос уже такой бодрый.
Well, what an amazing game out from Furious Gaming.
Тут, короче, что-то ляпнул, смотрит на него такой, типа, что-то скажет, такой. Что ж, да, 1-1. Это молодцы, видно, что у ребят одинаковый потенциал к бою. Мы сейчас ждем третью стычку, посмотрим, что будет.
I think we can say the biggest upset in Wild Rift history right here as LATAM get their second international win. Ebro got the first win last year over Sengoku Gaming. And this was not where we thought it would happen. Honestly, I don't know where we thought it would happen. But here it is, Nova Esports again playing with their food a little bit. And you called it, Stuart. But don't put the camera on me. Put the camera on Stuart. Stuart called it. He said they picked for a mid to late game composition, and boy, did we go late.
That's as late game as you're going to get, really. A 30, 40-minute game. But LATAM is the only region at the moment to even take a game off of China. Coming into this, the strongest region, everyone thought, in the entire, entire world. And LATAM come in and they take a game away from China. It's the biggest upset, definitely.
And they look so prepared, they look so good, they have clear set plays planned as well, such as the level 1. We were saying, yeah, they need to do these kind of plays to really get a lead, to really win the game. But at the end of the day, I think they... It's crazy to say, but I think they just outperformed Nova here as a whole.
Еще, да?
Not taking anything away from them.
Yeah. Again, right? Maybe Nova not putting the pedal to the metal when they needed to here. We hear some laughing going on. We hear all of Furious Gaming walking by us right now, just loving exactly what happened. But again, we wanted to highlight the Rift Herald. That was their first objective that they got, because remember, last game they got no objectives here, and they weren't necessarily getting the gold that they needed to when they were fighting.
I mean, the problem was that Nova was basically like 1,000 gold in every single lane. It was a very low-kill game at the start. It was just Nova again, just playing the map so much better.
Здесь они дракона пытались забрать, но, по-моему, так и не забрали.
Furious Gamer were just losing a lot of gold. That was the problem. All the sideways, all the gold they were losing, and Nova were able to just use that. And Latam were just grouping in the mid lane and we're playing basically ARAM at some points during this game.
Yeah, and I remember at this moment, the first attempt at the Elder Inferno Dragon, after Furious Game got pushed off, I was like, okay, nobody needs to take this, otherwise we reset and we do it again. So a great job by Furious to continue to buy time here, Omo.
And this is exactly what we
здесь
saw.
Галио отлетает.
So far as well.
Потом еще и Фиора, если я не ошибаюсь. Нет,
Фиора
убежала. Фиора убежала. Нет, не Зикс, это Люциан. И третий Гарем.
Yeah. Jace getting the opportunity to scale here, and we were wondering, hey, at what point are you going to stop splitting and group up? But then they went with a 1-3-1 to close it on out. Here's the Baron, and we're like, okay, this is close, but Long showing he still was here to play with a huge steal with the Fiora.
That's his moniker, right? The son of the dragon this time around, the son of the Baron. He gets the steal. He nearly did. I thought they had it. I thought Nova was back in the game off of that play. But honestly, Furious, they
вот здесь как он сохранился. Просто и Стазис, и Бабл, и, блин, Алистар.
Yeah, that moment there, Yami has the Galio taunt ready to go, and maybe starting to feel the tilt, maybe start feeling the nerves, and missed the taunt. That allowed Prusher to escape, and they were able to continue to push on forward. They fight up in here. I think this is when they take the, this is our winning moment here, but they got the second Baron, and we're able to push it on in. Again, that Baron steal was great for Long and the rest of Nova Esports, but I think they ended up with a negative Baron gold, and you can see again, the pride, there for Furious Gaming, as they, again, pull off the biggest upset, and all of Wild Rift, you can see Coach saying, all right, let's calm it down.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying. Chill out.
We're really here to play. We know that they can bleed. And honestly, this goes such a long way, not only for Furious Gaming in this specific matchup here, but for the whole tournament.
As Nova, again, just kind of
and the crazy thing is now, you look at Nova backstage, they're worried. If they lose this series, they're basically just hold a China. Like, what do we go in now? How do we go into this tournament? We thought that China was going to be the best region, but now Furious Gaming, they're the ones who are like, you know what, we've got nothing to lose, we can go into it, we can play our game, play what we're comfortable with, but Nova on the other hand.
Сидят, смотрят, те, которые выбирают на соревнования, так, ребята, давайте. Либо они просто собираются все такие в клубе и все, ебашатся. 20-я минута просто была переломной для этой команды. Поломали судьбу китайцам. Просто в натуре начало, 3-я минута, до самой 20-й минуты, и все, биткоин, блядь, начал падать.
Leading the way above everyone.
And again, it goes back to the draft as well. You know, the draft in the first game, Furious Gaming, but it went for this early game
вот Ариадна,
they were like, okay,
у нее не было видно ее, но по факту у нее урона больше. Хотя вопрос, откуда у нее урон, она шар пускай бьет, но понятно, она, скорее всего, больше всего фарм по мобам. Не обязательно Зет, Ариадна, Зет, Алистар был на поддержке, в основном его дело облететь, застанить. Этим он и занимался, поэтому у него меньше всего было по голде. И вообще по урону. Больше контроля не Неужели Португалия здесь хотя бы второй бой выиграла не вчистую уже? А то как не смотришь, китайцы просто, блядь, унижают, как будто я и мои рандомы.
Yeah, I'm just racking my brain right now for across both Wild Rift and League PC, unlike a time where a region, the LATAM region has taken a game off of a Chinese region squad. Like, this is huge here. And again, we've seen already in this tournament times where teams that are in the lead haven't pushed the tempo, but they're still able to win later on in the mechanics. They're able to steal a Baron and things fall apart. But the resiliency shown by this squad, the game plan coming to fruition in terms of scaling and playing through the Jacks, allowing the Zed to be a playmaker on your biggest playmaker, probably one of the biggest playmakers we've seen on the global stage so far here on Icons and
получается, это сейчас бой заканчивается.
When they went to 1-3-1, I was like, don't do 1-3-1. No one really does 1-3-1 well. But Jason Jax went to the side lanes, and then finally pulling the trigger at the right time. The Jax coming on down and collapsing, and Jace doing a great job buying time when Long went down to the other
side. There was a situation during the late game where Furious Gaming was stacked around the Baron, and then Long was down in the bot lane trying to kill Jace. But then you put Long down there. There was someone else who I can't remember the champion exactly, but there's someone else over. Yeah, Nian as well also went down there. Lelouch, and then you're a situation where your Furious Gaming is like, okay, we could just take the Baron for free. There's no jungler here. There's nothing that they could do. So they've got the Elder Dragon, they've got the Baron, and that's how they ended the game. Long was able to basically stall the game with that first Baron still, but the second Baron, as soon as they take that, it's at the point in the game where Baron scales up and becomes really strong. On top of the Elder Dragon, there's just nothing Nova could do, even the Chinese region.
That was such a crazy thing to me. When you see Chinese teams steal a Dragon, steal a Baron, you kind of have a feeling like they come back, they've won the game. But Furious stalled it out and they came back on a second Baron. That really adds to how impressive this win is from them. They lost to the Miracle Play coming up from WRL.
Забрала барона, да,
отдала себя, но зато подарила. Honestly, impressive mentality from that.
Так, готовимся к третьему бою.
These are two of the best solo laners that we've seen so far in the tournament. You know, Iza has had some leads here, but hasn't been able to translate into a dominantly where there is no way back. Will they be able to do it in game number 3? Let's find out together as the draft is underway. And will we have the biggest upset in Wild Rift esports history and esports history in general? Like this,
I think just out of any game, I think it'll be the biggest upset. I think in esports history, probably. I think it's honestly on that sort of scale. It's interesting to see, you know, will Furious Gaming go for the same sort of plan? Will they try and prioritize a Jace this time instead of the Armor as well?
Кого-то тех же будут брать, более похоже, так, Синджао бан.
Nova going to maybe ban out champions that maybe they don't want to deal with, or do they feel confident enough that they can turn this game around?
I think there's two options on the table right now from Nova. Your comp last game didn't really accelerate the game, didn't really have a better late game. On red side especially, you need to have one of those two win conditions. Nova needs to identify that and say either we go quicker here or we have better scaling. We need to figure something out. Same bans and Furious, and I think this is what really enabled them to get the winning matchup. Echo said he wanted to go away from skill matchups, but he made it work.
В принципе, почти да то же самое. Все те же баны, это я не знаю просто зачем. Они в первом бою это выяснили, что надо их делать.
You just get past 15 minutes and like Jack's not really skillful, you just bonk.
And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Nova leave that open again.
Они просто одних и тех же кидают, ничего такого даже, наверное, не обсуждают на Юми бан.
We'll see what the final ban is here, as we've got the Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, and Yumi banned away by the LATAM squad. Where are we going?
Блять, вот это вот нихуя себе, Алистар бан.
So, Kapazeba's champ pool getting pinched.
Вот тот случай, когда от него было, по сути, по статистике ни хера никакого толку, но по факту Алистар ебать какой толк дал именно в стратегии боя. Поголде ни о чем не был, но его контроль просто помог всем. Джеймс, первый. Зикс и еще один стрелок на самолете, я не помню, как его зовут.
Alright, so Corky getting locked in instead of the Lucian here, but the Ziggs back to dish out the dim.
А то был
Right? What worked for you from game one, we're gonna take it back. And Tихан, Stuart, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe Lucian has not won a game yet. We said when Corky start playing Lucian, he's gonna start winning, but Nova, number one regular on the team, lost on the Lucian as well.
Alright, the biggest difference here. Zed now, the scale, one, but then two, Corky can get away from Zed.
Точно. Справа это Корки, подсказали мне комментаторы. И теперь убирает Китай. Вроде выбираете. А чё, в бан только троих? Или может быть еще двоих отпустите? Гарен. Немножко, похоже, та же стратегия.
Interesting priority, really, by Nova picking the Garen. I think, yeah, you have to ban AP.
Ариану в бан, потому что больше всего голды от нее было. Они испугались Ариану и Алистара, видать. Сейчас ребятам придется отыгрывать это. Так, теперь в бан идет кто? Кого отправляете? Дед с бочкой прорыгает. Такой относительно танковый тип и контроль. И сет. Сет бан. Потому что на первом бою, в принципе, неплохо отыграли, но вечно сет отлетал. Хоть он инициировал. И следующий бан от Аргентины.
This is probably the
most
unlikely game of the entire year. We thought would go to a 3-game.
Я уже забыл, они начинают судить по первому бою. Все, вот этот петух пошел. Но он больше как на поддержку. У него вечно есть что-то слинять. Не, будем называть его петух, но он реально пушистый.
Galio's honestly been a very underwhelming champion to me after the nerf, so I feel like Rakan is going to be a great boon to Envy's draft now.
I think they're really shutting down Cabo Caesar's champion pool right now.
Yeah.
You know, the Alistar ban, the set ban as well was for the support pool, and also the Rakan ban. So now what's Cabo going to pick up here? There's so many engaged champions that have gone down. I feel like Cabo is a champion player that has played very aggressive, played all of these aggressive champions, but the Karma pick is pretty much the only AP champion that's left open.
I still would like to see some engaged support coming in here, but there's really nothing left. I guess Leona, so they just go for the Braum instead. It's not a bad pick, but I feel like this hurts them because how did they win the game last time? They were aggressive. They could find fights. They could find avenues to go in. Braum doesn't give you that.
Right. It feels like you're asking a lot of pressure as they have this whole series to now make his own play. You got a lot more of kiting away, running into a Braum, less so like instant engage, right?
Wukong jungle?
Jungle
Garen top, right? That seems more likely here to me.
That's it's the first time we've seen Wukong jungle for a long time, really, to be fair. It's mainly Wukong Baron lane that we've seen, but I think on the side of Furious Gaming, you kind of don't have that engaged source now from the Alistar like you did in the previous game.
Когда нету основных персонажей, у меня в голове такое понятие. Должны быть основные персонажи. Те, которые дают нормальный дэмэдж.
Russia and Echo, right? It's the same two guys from last game. I think they really need to step up big here. And Libra, I guess, as well.
Здесь как таковые.
Alright, the draft has been completed. History has been made with Furious Gaming taking one game off of Nova, but will that be a footnote in the history books, or will it be its own chapter? Let's find out as we send over the decisive game number 3 to TJ and Grandin.
Let's go!
Учителя щелкнулись и разошлись.
Well,
начинается бой.
Furious Gaming, they get to write their own story. They get to decide how
Stuart
things are
also
go.
kind of threw me off. I was like ready, and there was like a let's go, and it like squeezed in there.
Let's go!
Давай,
Yeah,
идет, происходит,
like the
походу,
Korean
загрузка.
casters. I like it. You gotta do it with me.
Oh, in sync, alright.
Yeah. Let's go! All right, Furious Gaming, bring us our first series in the Icons Global Championship.
Our first game 3 in the international this year, Nova Esports expected to dominate here. I know we've said it, but incredulously enough, it is
Все, и как
Furious
обычно,
Gaming
стычка уже на
who
миде,
took them
все
the
уже
distance.
вышли.
And I was telling you right before we went on mic, I think they might have
Трипл
done it
идет
again in the draft.
фул
Oh,
пятерка такой же стратегии, но нет,
I
они
don't
просто
know, Nova.
разошлись.
You really have to expect that after it happened last game. I know that
Красные
was
сейчас
40
чекают,
minutes
как те
ago,
пойдут
but
в кусты.
still.
Поставили.
It's so scary in these level ones as well because
Вард
Storm
был
is
сломан.
like devastating.
Here's the amazing thing, TJ. Furious Gaming have doubled down, and even
Танк
with the
с
champions
кем-то
banned away, the
на
Orion
боте.
and Alice are removed.
Танк с Бабой Зина на
Gone
боте.
back with just
Джеймс на
a
топе,
slight
Зет
twist.
на миде
Well,
и в
the thing that happened
лесу.
last game was Nova Esports didn't run the map, didn't earn a massive gold lead, didn't punish them for only drafting late game.
Всё,
And if that
начинается
happens, then
пристрелочка.
absolutely Furious Gaming are right to say, okay, let's do it again. Because Furious Gaming's strength, as is the case for most of the WL teams,
На
as
миде
is
Зет
especially the
ищет
case for
Гарена.
them, a team with Campasiva and Pressure on it, is their team fights.
Right.
And if Nova Esports are going to give them
Хорошее
a free bus
попадание.
ticket to team fight town, they'll take it any day of the week, so they build the
Чё, как
composition
его
around
зовут?
it
Блин,
again.
опять забыл.
Being able to play for that, Nova Esports do see themselves adapt slightly now with this Rakan to better help them facilitate their engage, to try to
трындят,
avoid that situation you just mentioned.
I would also say, I think this, like, the removal of Dilution, the Corki coming in here.
Right.
Like, this is a little bit more of a late game composition from Nova Esports. But that in and of itself is interesting, because the response to being blasted out in a late game 5v5 team fight is not, alright, well, let's
Всё, я
make sure
пока
that
ложусь
doesn't
спать,
happen.
пока...
Let's give
Оп!
along like his Lee Sin or
Подожди-ка, только
something.
спать я собирался.
Really interesting
Понятно, ни о чем.
decision here from Nova as well.
Yeah. Early pressure here. And this is what I'm, like, interested in. Logging is an incredibly good lead set.
Так, а
It would be
Лес
so
чё,
easy if
никто
I'm
не
the coach
чистит?
of Nova to just say,
Ну,
okay, well,
пытается.
let's just win early. Let's get long release and let's run the map.
An
Oh,
interesting
Flash.
move here from
Джеймс,
Libra.
почти,
Auto
Джеймс.
attacks
Нет,
away, Nyan picks up the hunting fruit in time.
He misses the empowered shock blast. Really good timing from Long.
хилился гном.
Or, sorry, from Nyan to dodge it.
He's
Зет
about to see some
Ебуков
early power here
получил.
from Ita.
Гарена.
And so, Nova Esports, instead of doubling down on the
Всё,
early
Китай
game
уже
and just
начинает
trying to make sure
опережать по колде.
they never get to it again,
По голде.
they said, you know what? I bet we win those late game team fights. Let's just make sure we have the tools for it. It'll be fine.
Начинают смещаться красные на низ.
Because it didn't just feel like Furious Gaming, you know, had gotten to a state their
Смысла
composition
нету,
was good
смысла
at.
нету.
They were winning those fights.
Харазят,
They were earning
харазят
those wins.
башню
Good
нижнюю.
rotation here from Nova. to
Выгнали
down to the
они.
man.
Yeah, this is a lot of gold actually getting passed over to them.
Will be
Очень
took
странно.
out turret a
This
decent
might be a
amount here as
whole
well.
turret.
Начинаются
Still a
первые
little
скупки.
tired away.
На урон на здоровье у...
But
а,
it is very nice to see Nova
Обезьяны.
Esports making proactive moves this time around.
I was just very nervous because Remake was sitting there with the satchel charge. And Sarther was a ways away. They decided not to take the risk.
у Конга, вернее.
I'm jumpy. Nova Esports, the last
Наверх
Furious game.
смещается
Anything could
Зет.
happen here at this point, TJ.
Pressure and Libra already up here on the top side, hunting long in his own jungle.
Which is
У Гарена
surprising that Long
остановил
is willing to take this
6% в
exchange.
чем-то.
Cyclone
Так
first
начинается
comes
схватка
through.
в
We also
лесу.
have to fight as
Вражеском
Yami joins in.
отъезжает
Pressure over by the
ФБ.
back. Long chases
Нет.
after, but Pressure's still alive.
Зет
How
ушел.
does he get away with these
Моё
things?
почтение.
Pressure in and pressure out. Now Furious Gaming, they have to worry about the rest
Зет
of their team.
ушел.
Libra baited in
И
by his team. But
первый
Kemp was
ФБ
down.
делает
Get away. But flashing
на
on hunting fruit.
Арене.
Re-engage. Oh, the pressure is still
Нет,
alive.
на
But a
Джеймсе,
clone
на
comes
Джеймсе
through, and
первое
Long
ФБ.
finally takes down the adversary.
And there's your answer. The desk was kind of wondering what is the
И
blue
кто
cone
еще
here for.
отъехал?
He interrupts
И
the
Зет
middle of
всё-таки
the
его
death mark
догнали.
application. When he gets
Он
ulted,
же
he drops
красиво
the
уходил.
cyclone, and we can see it on the replay
Вот,
here.
Зет
He drops
начинает
the cyclone
атаковать,
as pressure ults
получает
him, and
ебуков,
completely
слишком
cancels the play. Here it is again. In,
пачка
interrupted,
становится,
shut down.
тэпается,
Pressure
уходит.
cannot complete the combo.
Опять
Pressure
ебуков,
runs
но
for
он
his life and
уходит.
eventually gets hunted down.
Надо
That's
было
Nova
вниз в
Esports having
пустую
a plan
ходить,
to
все
deal
уже,
with
он бы
aggressive
уже,
sets.
наверное, раздернул.
does manage
Я
to
не
get
понял,
away
как
here.
он... Я не
Remake
заметил,
and
как он
Sata fighting
отлетел.
their own fight in the bottom end.
Опять Китай делает
Let's remake that burns as summoners
первые
away.
шаги.
Well, we need to start looking towards what happens here as the 5-minute mark is now approaching.
Троечка
Pressure
внизу.
shut down with that early first kill, but despite that, still very even a game on both sides.
Гарен
Yeah,
поставил.
pretty even gold. I will say there's a difference here in that Nova got those kills by killing Pressure, which is something
Я
they
думал,
didn't get
да,
last game. Last
смещается
game,
на низ.
around this time, Pressure was already looking pretty nasty. So, if Furious Gaming want to repeat last game, they need to find a way to get gold onto their Zed.
Он встречается с Зедом.
He is so much of their playmaking.
Они вдвоем отъезжают.
Oh,
Очень, очень,
Well, unfortunate.
очень нет.
Well, the ways could have been a
Я
kill onto
подумал,
Yami.
они отлетят.
look at the Nova Esports vision game. I
Гарен
love this. They were doing this last
пытается
game as well.
засейвить
Making
его.
sure they have that deep ward just behind the dragon pit, making sure they have wards all throughout their own jungles, so there's no way to steal anything away.
Не-не-не-не, Зеду надо теряться. Зеду надо теряться.
Vision could be. You saw what Ita was doing
Красного
there. He was
дракона
standing away from
хотят
where the
забрать.
wall
А
In the books as
одни
well.
дракона, а
Making
вторые...
sure
Так,
nobody can, like, flank and
Уконг
contest
на
this.
драконе.
This is interesting here. Package comes across to get a kill onto Libra. As they were doing the Riptail, now being intercepted.
получилось
Remember,
забрать
Echo
дракона.
used his flash to get away from the last fight, so now taken down. Crescendo Embrace comes through from Sata, but it's only going to stop them from going in long, working on that dragon as well.
And Furious Gaming being treated.
И еще минус на
Furious Gaming being treated with the respect they deserve this time round.
Absolutely.
Nova Esports playing them like another WRL team. And that is getting them the wins in this macro game, playing the map very carefully, respecting the fact that Furious Gaming could win team fights against the best of them. And that is a victory for Furious Gaming, a victory for the WRL, but a bad sign for them in this game specifically.
I will say this, TJ. I feel like Furious Gaming have that X factor in them. You know, something.
You think they're still in this?
I won't say that. I won't say they have an X factor.
Okay, well, you had a moment there to get some Twitter followers.
Well, I still think they're an amazing
cool
team.
kid.
I still think they're an amazing team. I don't want. If that's how I get Twitter followers, I don't want that.
Right. If that's how you get power, you don't want power.
Exactly. And I think Furious Gaming, I feel like they have that X factor, right? Okay. Now Nova Esports really have to pull out all the stops. They're doing their due diligence and they're getting it done right. 0-5 to start off the game. Prussia trying to assassinate the back. We made so many times last game, but this time it's not going to be the same.
Unlike last game, he doesn't have so much damage that he can just one-shot because he's behind in the early game.
And not being able to one-shot means he has to back off. He's going to reset, come back into the fight again.
So kind of the vector here for Furious, if they would like to win this game, is stall out. Wait until the mid-late game, you're looking at like 2-3 item completion on Zed, and then he'll be able to one-shot again. And that's where Furious Gaming can win. But they need to keep the gold within about 5,000, already kind of drifting out of that window. And that's very worrying, because if Nova are more than like 5,000 ahead, you're not going to be able to kill Yisa. You're not going to be able to kill Nian in these fights.
По мне язык собирать, блядь, переключаться на герои, блядь. Как они называют? Чемпионы.
So, it's hard, Grandin. Is the summary.
Is hard.
Is the cliff notes.
Summarized quickly, it is a very difficult game.
Summarized quickly, it's rough out there.
It's rough out there.
Furious Gaming. A little bit behind.
Так, я пытаюсь вспомнить, как зовут того летающего. Корки. Корки. Игорь, запомни, Корки.
Does assist them quite a bit here. Getting a little bit more tempo. Don't want to allow Furious Gaming a free entry into that mid to late game like you've mentioned.
Не добивает одного моба.
I will say
Сами, они реснулись. И Гарен может получить сейчас его. Нет, не уходит. Не уходит. Забирает его Джин.
Not exactly who you want the gold into, but they might get this turret. Good Mega Inferno Bomb.
Just making sure he clears out the wave, and there's no way for Furious Gaming to get the turret there.
Did you see Furious Gaming go, hang on, there's a Ziggs in the area?
Петух подходит.
And immediately turned to try and find him a kill.
Prussia wants it, but he has no flash. It's gonna be
Получает ебуков Зет. Сможет уйти. Не уходит Зет. Забирает его петух. На тобе Вуконг и Джеймс. И очень похоже, что сейчас Джеймс... Очень такое ощущение, что сейчас Джеймс... Не, Вуконг отлетел, зря он слез, его там поджидал. Хорошо подошел Джин.
Capoeira trying to ult the wave for clear. A valiant effort. I really like the idea.
You got the B off as well.
Yeah, good B.
Срочно чекнуть, как зовут петуха.
Unfortunately, there was a satchel charge to take down the turret, and that's going to continue across the map. Here's the Nova Esports we expect. Very clean, very clinical, earning a gold advantage.
Plus 3 turrets. 10 minutes into the game.
And it's not looking so great for Prussia. Echo does have a decent amount of gold. It's been a really standout series for Echo. We introduced this series by kind of defining him as a more supportive jungler. That has kind of not been true. And now it needs to not be true the most, because if Furious Gaming is a path into this game, it's through their jacks right now.
Libra has been doing well into Nian, but it really will be about Echo's performance in this game.
Turret just goes down to minions.
It happens.
He was getting pushed by Libra. Libra backs away, and nobody could get to it in time, so Libra gets kind of tangential credit. A little bit more gold in the Furious Gaming pocket.
1-2 по размену по башням, 2-6 по киллам. Ну и 5000 также отставание по голде.
Давай.
Under turret.
Echo and pressure.
Не решили продолжать.
Under turret, pressure doesn't want it. Echo kind of thinking about it. Pressure
is convinced. He was like, yeah, maybe.
Okay, alright.
Now we go on the turret. Now because we have the ground control from
нет?
Caposeba, we will kill you.
Минус Гарен.
Yeah! On the opposite side of the map.
Все начинает смещаться.
Kill being used.
Китайская команда также забирает, пытаются забрать дракона, забрали дракона. Вуконг забрал дракона. В отместку, Ебуков получает рейком. Нет, не получает. Наоборот, раздает. Бабу Зину забрали. Бабу Зину и Джина забрали. Больно, больно, больно. И сейчас еще отлетает. Нет, засейвили Зеда. Хорошо отошел. И рейком. Чё рейком? Чё рейком? Чё рейком? Рейком забирает. Зеда и Вуконг забирает Джеймса. На лол хп уходит танк. Забирают светильник. Краба. Боющегося краба, или как вот его зовут. Краб вечно боится, типа того. Нарай.
I think the big takeaway from this series, though, is that we're here, is that we're in game 3. Is that Furious Gaming forced Nova to play like this, to play WRL form against them. WOL fans should be very proud, and I think this raises some very exciting questions about the entire region.
I'll tell you what, TJ, in more immediate fashion.
Okay.
Now I'm a little concerned for this group.
Yeah, spicy group now.
It shakes up. If Furious Gaming looked this good against Nova.
Судя по пиздежу, пока там ничего не происходит, да? Я просто не вижу.
Not my power rankings.
Блядь,
Not your power rankings.
Yeah, I think that's very much.
У меня что тут, не все персонажи. В игре есть более 40 чемпионов. Тогда их 80. Нет? 84 чемпиона. А, Браун. Точно.
Doesn't seem to amount to too much. A little bit more damage from Yami, but pressure starts to run away. The Ignite comes across. Furious Gaming corralled into the bottom end of the map.
12 уровень получает Джеймс.
And I do definitely think there was some, like, Nova Esports were not giving Pressure and Furious Gaming the respect they deserved. Game number 1.
И почти Z на лол хп уходит.
Rift Tunnel popped at the bottom end of the map. There's only 3 available to defend. Watch out for the flank from Echo, but it's far away.
Echo thinking about flanking. Doesn't really have an angle. Too many players there. And this is again Nova just playing this so carefully. Like the Nova from game 2 who's having a good time, forcing some fights, gone. This is a Nova whose teachers took them aside, talked to them.
Получает Ебуков в Джин.
Told off.
Отходит в корки.
Yeah. You cannot give
Харазит топ
Гарен.
Возможно, Гарен не уйдет. Зет и Джин и... Начинается все в одного, но приходит помощь Китая. Такое ощущение, что 5 миллиардов залетело сейчас. Мелкими группами по 5 миллионов человек. Просто разобрали всех. Всех троих, которые шли на Гарена. Вот он, Гарен байтит. Им всем прилежает все, кроме Вуконга. Херяк. Гарен ультует. Сам не отлетает. Все пытаются отбиться. И отлетает Джеймс. Все отлетают.
The Baron up here for Nova.
They
had a difficult time executing with it last game with the wave clear from the Oriana.
No
Ori this time. No Ori this time. The Karma, similar ults, but very different other spells.
Ori nada.
Ori nada. Got it. Who are you? Honestly, DJ. Attempt to catch out Pressure. Will succeed here for Nova.
Yeah. Pressure just getting a little too greedy, a little too desperate, I think is the right frame.
He's off in the side lane, getting a little desperate. He knows he needs that goal to get back in.
I mean, there's just no way back into it if you don't take risks. There's no shame in Pressure for trying it, but
absolutely,
the math doesn't add up. Here come Nova.
Pushing in from all three lanes.
Я что-то моргнул, блин. Уже харась от Аргентины. Т3, минус 1, минус 2, минус 3. Все Т3 сносят. Потому что они, походу, успели барона, блин, взять, пока я его переклассовал, смотрел. Как они все это так быстро делают? У них что там, быстрее двигаться начинают? И это победа!
Nova Esports get the win! But there is one thing for sure, and that is going to be, it is not their story out of this series.
Офигеть.
Yes, Nova, you did win, but everyone is going to be talking about Furious Gaming today.
You look at what's happened.
2-1.
Weakness shown by the WRL, and it was Furious Gaming that brought that to us.
Да, были вообще жаркие бои, совершенно не той стратегии, это рейтинги ебучих команд. Просто если они ходят в шмотках, значит они ебучие команды. Да, я думаю, все, на этом пока сегодняшние соревнования подходят к концу. Следующие будут через 18 минут. Это будет у нас Тайвань и Бельгия. Тайвань и Бельгия.
Like I was talking about, I feel kind of bad for Nova because they did get the win. They did look really clean in game 3. They looked pretty clean in game 1.
But it's not the story.
But the fact that Nova got exploited, like, you should be leaving that, and I think they are with a smile on their faces.
Ладно, захаразили, правда, не знаю, китайцы у всех что-то рвут. Вот как не китайская СССР, ну, вот какой-то узкоглазый, да, все, они рвут всех, блядь, в этом киберспорте. Вам что, денег не хватает, что ли? Вы и так, блядь, весь мир снабжаете, еще в соревнованиях побеждаете, блядь. Охуеть. Ладно, чё? Так сказать, всем спасибо за просмотр. А с вами был Тихан Иванович и пока-пока.